What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Schneid. Big one, big day today, big day yesterday. Obviously, free agency. We're going to jump pretty much right into it. We don't have a ton of time. Got a couple guests. First and foremost, I'm sure y'all are coming from straight from the PPRTyler stream. You need a kind of a better name, I think. PPRTyler.
What's wrong with that? You don't like PPRTyler?
I mean, that's your name. Like
My name's not PPR. My name's not PPR.
I'd imagine your first name is not points per reception.
That'd be funny.
But Tyler, how are you, man? Good to see you. Good to come on the stream finally. Link it up again. I just had your stream, so I'm sure everybody coming in is from there. But what's going on? What's happening? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I definitely had to come. I mean, when you said you were doing this one, I had to come on. You came on my stream, so I definitely had to come and return the favor. Hopefully we can get EMO on at some point during the stream too. That would be fun. But yeah, super happy to be on. Definitely I want to get your takes because, like, you know, I frequent your streams every now and again. I'll watch a couple of replays and like I like that you have it in your YouTube bio. What does it say here? It's yeah. If you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. And like some people just say that, like that sounds kind of cliche, but like when you were like, I forget who, when you came on, you're like, yeah, I got like 25% Jarquez Hunter. I was like, okay, this guy's for real, you know, I love people who have takes. I don't love people who just have 8% of every player. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to dive into some of the free agency stuff, talk about these new landing spots, new ADPs, who we buying, who we selling, kind of that stuff. So I'm ready to get into it.
Yeah, let's do it. I appreciate that. Who Hames in the chat? Das Brew Crew. First time I've seen your name, so welcome to the chat. Appreciate it. Putt Daddy, the OG. Appreciate you coming in. Who Hames again? Das Brew, they're just chatting. There we go. Anthony, I'm not an addict like you two. I can never quit.
Yeah, right.
We got some addicts in here. Y'all got any one of them drafts? Appreciate you guys coming in. Let's jump into it. Okay, Green Bean, what's up? Okay, we're gonna bring it up. We're gonna do this quick. Tyler doesn't have all night to be in here chatting, so we'll jump into a draft. Maybe once Emo Cowboy comes in at some point, disbanded. He's engaged the AI. I'm convinced that Disbanded Brotherhood is an AI chatbot.
No, we've got him. He's talked in ours before.
I know it's an inside joke. It's an inside joke between him and I. But that's the joke, is that's what engages. The period engages the AI chatbot, and then you know it goes.
Oh, got it. Okay.
But let's jump into it quick. Let's talk about the trades yesterday. So the DK Metcalf news, that trade. What was your initial thoughts on that one?
It sucks for fantasy. I had like 17% DK, and I was like, it's funny because I said, because Devontae goes to the Rams 5 minutes before I went live yesterday, and then I was talking. Oh, look who we got in here! Look who it is. Here. We're talking about DK. Let me finish my story, then we'll introduce you. You wait till I'm done talking, you son of a bitch. So I literally said, I don't even know where I'm like, where could DK even go where like he wouldn't be better in value? Because I'm thinking Chargers, I'm thinking Texans, you know, the teams that he was rumored to be going to, and then he goes to the Steelers, and it's just like, what are we doing? And now I'm left holding the bag. So what can you do there? But yeah, so
what percentage are you at?
17 on DK, and he's gonna fall. So
Tyler, Emo Cowboy, well, welcome in. We'll chat more about that, but welcome in. How you doing, man? Appreciate you coming in.
Oh, I feel so blessed. You know, I get to grace a Canadian stream. I bridge the gap of a UK stream. Captain Continental, I feel like. Thanks for having me on. I'm stoked.
Mr. Worldwide. That's what it is.
Goddamn right. Yeah. DK's it feels like a tragedy. The bailout is that they moved Pickens and go in a different direction, and then all of a sudden it becomes a wash. That's what I'm telling myself.
I was saying like they got DK Metcalf at home, so James Daniels goes to the Dolphins. Okay,
yeah,
nothing crazy.
They do shit like that just so because it sounds like Jaden Daniels. I'm convinced. You know, they're engagement farming.
I mean, it was what Rodgers to Isaiah Rodgers signed somewhere. You were like, Rodgers has signed, and it's like, you know exactly what you're
doing. Let's jump into a draft. I want to get into one with you guys because if you have to get off, then we can do that. We can talk through the free agency stuff as we go, and maybe we'll get some more breaking news. But let's jump into a big board. we'll
Love
chop.
to get on.
But let's jump into a big board. And if you guys want to get in, sorry you can't unless you apologize, but that's how she goes.
There's always the next one.
We're gonna get some EV here. That's nice to hear and see.
Oh, we got Underzet in here.
I don't know if he's in the chat or not, but
I don't know.
But either way, that's nice. Get a little bit of EV. It doesn't typically happen in these drafts. We're in the 12 spots. We get a lot of time to chat. That's good.
That's
Hell
good.
yeah.
Great for content.
Tempted to ask me about my thoughts on Warren. Is that a hot topic or?
It's a very inside baseball joke. Just Tyler, and BBG argue about Tyler Warren just because BBG likes to compare him to Bowers, but he's a different player. I think his price is fine, but I understand if people like Ninjoku and Kelsey better.
I heard that. I was actually watching the stream when that disagreement, we'll call it, went down for you guys. But I don't know. I mean, my opinion on Warren, he's the best tight end in the draft, and it's really not close. So, I mean, I think his price is fine, honestly. Like, where's he going right now?
I think that, yeah, he's going kind of where Bowers was going, but like he's gonna get drafted like kind of the same area. Like he's gonna go like at least top 12, top 15 for sure.
Yeah, but why does Bowers' price matter?
It doesn't. That you just encapsulated the entire argument. Also, CMC 101. We already.
I didn't see that. Look at that. Is it 2022 or 2023? I guess
it's 2023. It's 2022. 2020.
The best way to sum up that BBG Warren thing is the quote. I think this is a direct quote. Why he goes? Why draft Tyler Warren when you can draft Jake Ferguson? And then EMO Cowboy responds, "Just draft both. You get to have both guys. You don't have to."
Yeah, quite easily. I'm sure I have a lot of combinations of that actually. But yeah, I mean, like just because a rookie no name went at this draft position last year, that means nothing this year realistically, but whatever. I mean, I like Tyler Warren a lot. He can do a lot of different things. He can line up under center. Who was the tight end that was doing a lot of the QB sneaks last year? Who was that? Does anyone know? You guys know off the top of your head?
Andrews was.
I don't think it was Andrews I'm thinking of, but
tight end?
Yeah, there was a tight end that would come in motion. I think it happened in the playoffs a bunch. And he was like similar to Warren, like a quarterback at some point in his life.
Quarterback?
Yeah, something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh,
it happened. It was like in the playoffs, I think, too, even. I can't remember, but I could see Tyler Warren doing some stuff like that.
Was it a Broncos guy? Did they have a Broncos guy doing that?
Broncos didn't make the playoffs, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They put the Bills.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
This guy knows ball.
It's been a long day, fellas. It's been a long day. Tucker Kraft maybe did it.
That could be it. That could be it.
Yeah, I think
Kraft. Yeah, actually, that was one of PPRTyler's Quizlets. Was Tucker Kraft rushing touchdown?
That's right. Yes. Yeah, the trivia. I remember that now. Yeah, you're right.
And then I know Blake Bell's done some of the sneak stuff. They get wonky with the.
Yeah, but he could do some of that stuff, and even just like he could line up in the backfield. He could do a lot of different things, Tyler Warren. So I don't know. I'm a fan, but what do we want to do at the turn here? One of these wide receivers, and
I love one of these wide receivers and Genty. That feels like automatic to me.
I'm 0% Genty, and I'm not taking him. Sorry, boy.
Oh
wow,
0% Genty.
Okay, well, let's go BTJ and let's go. We get 23%
London or Bowers is fine.
Let's go. Oh. Let's go. I can't even decide. You decide. Okay, go.
We heard London. Let's do London.
Let's go London.
London. Yeah. Okay. Let's hear the Genty take though. I feel like we have to hear that. I mean, that's a pretty big stand. This is why I knew I liked you, because you're gonna do shit like that.
He's okay. 5'9", 210 probably.
5'9".
Pause. I didn't come on here to get shit on. 5'9", bro. To my face.
How tall are you? Like 6'7"? 6'7".
No, I'm like barely NFL quarterback height. Barely.
Do we get some news?
I'm 6'1".
Oh, Chase
what
Young.
Do we get?
All right, Chase Young. That's it.
Okay, nothing.
Defensive
I'm about 6'1", so lucky, I suppose. But either way, 5'9", like 210, right? Fucking 400 touches probably last year on that frame, take away what he did the year before, what he did in high school, everything like that. That's a huge concern to me. And he played in the fucking Mountain West. Like, can we not see that? Like,
but he
why
dominated.
Why is he a first?
He dominated the Mountain West. He dominated the Mountain West. That's the thing. It's like, you know how many running backs play in the Mountain West that don't do what he did? Like, that's what I always come back to, where it's like,
you know how many played in it that did exactly what he did, though? Look at Marcus Yarns. Look at Dylan Laube.
Yarns. They don't play that.
Not quite what he did, obviously, but
yeah. And
go ahead.
Delaware is not the same as, playing.
I love this in the weeds stuff, but from a dumb, simplistic standpoint, if he's gonna go in the first round, let alone the top 15 picks, which is the heavy favorite betting markets wise, what's disincentivizing a team from giving him all that volume? Like when you look at the historic round one running backs in the last decade, just like volume alone is king. And like at the end of the day, does it matter if they're just going to smash him for a shitload of touches? Like he has to be incredibly bad to not pay off, just like being fed as the main guy. I guess your concern is if he's not that good and he's taken one like round one, they don't use him as much. But most teams don't do that until like year 2 or 3, a la Najee. So Najee might have been one of the most mid round one running backs there was, and he was a smash at the 1-2 turner in the second round because of just the touches alone on a bad Ben Roethlisberger offense. So it's like if he's going in round one, like draft capital alone, it's like it's a safer bet than not for some of these guys as far as just like commitment of the coaching staff. Yeah.
No, I get that, but are you telling me he's going to outscore Derrick Henry?
Yes.
Derrick Henry's what, 33? I can see it. If here's the thing,
Jonathan Taylor.
Okay,
Jonathan Taylor, like both those guys are very like touchdown dependent within their respective. Jonathan Taylor has an offensive like the offense might be inefficient and not score that much. He needs like rushing efficiency because he's not getting targets. Derrick Henry, same thing, except his offense is very likely to be a top scoring offense, but he's not getting a shit ton of like extra touches and extra catches. We've seen him be game script dependent. That's part of why he was a round 3 guy. I'm taking some Henry, but like age plus like how much work he's getting. Genty could smash both, just getting all the touches JT gets, but more of the rushing touchdowns with not a rushing quarterback. Like his outs.
What running back is not touchdown dependent realistically?
Well, that's why I'm saying like volume is king, is it not? And if Genty's
I agree with that. I agree with that. I'm just saying like how many 5'9", 200-pound running backs are just hogs in a backfield where almost every backfield is a 2-headed backfield. Even Gibbs, who's a first-round pick, I think we can all agree that's a 2-headed backfield.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I'm just saying like for the guys that are going around him that are touchdown dependent, like you said, Derrick Henry, I 100% agree with that, but the touchdowns are going to be there. And we know that. I don't know where Genty's going. And let's say he goes to, I don't know, like the Giants or the Jaguars, something like that. I don't think the Raiders are taking him. I don't think the Cowboys are taking him.
I think the Raiders are heavy, sneaky dark horse to take him.
Possibly. I just like the Chip Kelly connection there with the Ohio State running backs that are a hell of a lot cheaper in the NFL draft.
Yeah, the connection thing is dicey though, because like that didn't really work out for the Harbaugh Corum thing. And it's not just Chip Kelly is I think who's the head coach? It's Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll loved taking running backs early just to get the guys on there.
But who are Pete Carroll guys at the running back position? Are they 5'9", 200, or are they 5'11", 6 foot, 220, like Marshawn Lynch? You know what I mean?
I mean, he had Chris Carson and Rashad Penny, and Rashad Penny was bigger than Carson, but Carson had the neck thing, and that's why he retired with a neck injury. I'm just saying he likes a bigger back that can take a bit more of a pounding. I think I could be wrong on this, and this might kill me, but I number one, I don't think it's going to kill me regardless. I'm looking at Genty like I looked at Marvin Harrison Jr. last year, and I was 0% Marvin Harrison Jr. last year. Yeah, I think this modern NFL knows how to utilize size backs. We just saw Bucky Irving be a huge hit as a smaller back, but was just very explosive. And mainly because he was given work as a pass catcher in a really good offense. And so I think outside of the Raiders, you have outs to like the Denver Broncos talking about they want a good running back. It doesn't seem like Dallas is in on a top 12 running back, but that just means better offenses could get Genty, which is better touchdown upside.
Najee
Breaking
officially
news,
to the Chargers,
Najee.
by the way.
Yeah, officially.
Officially with the Chargers?
1 year,
9.5.
9.5.
Boom.
Who
Easy
do we
pick.
want to take here? Najee or?
Yeah, Najee here seems good.
I personally like James Cook a little bit. Other than that, these receivers, I never know just who to click, to be honest.
Could go quarterback if you want, but what are your thoughts, Tyler? EMO.
I usually sneak Tet in here just because he is outs to be the first wide receiver taken, and Cook is fine too.
We'll take Cook because we ran out of time.
Yeah,
let's do Cook and Tet.
I'll give you guys Tet because I'm not taking Genty there, and I don't take Tet here either. But I'll take Tet McMillan.
Well, it sounds like you need one team with Genty and Tet. Just
no. I have like 2 clicks on Tet, but go ahead, PPR. You got some stuff on Genty.
Just to put a bow on the Genty thing. He feels kind of like Dalvin Cook to me. Dalvin wasn't the tallest back, more thick. Feels like a faster Dalvin Cook is kind of like what I feel like he is. And Dalvin was like the man in Minnesota for a while. So I can kind of see that kind of like they have similar body types in my opinion. And as far as the competition thing, 25 carries, 192 yards and 3 touchdowns against Oregon this year. And then last year against the Washington team that went to the national championship, he had 10 for 44 and a touchdown, but then 4 for 109 and through the air and a touchdown. So he had 144 total yards and 2 touchdowns. So like he did it against some good competition, granted very small sample size. So there's that part of it too. I'm not going to be probably overexposed to Genty, but the 8% thing feels fine for me. I think he's just a fun back to watch too. Like he's such like he's a home run hitter. He's a lot closer to like, like a guy who could like win you a week than like a bruising, like, like some random bigger back or something like that.
And the last point I'll add to the Genty thing is, and simply because it was the first thing brought up. I mean, to me, Raiders and Denver are heavy favorites. Yeah. But like at the end of the day, I follow the data when it comes to like health stuff, and this like touches theory thing has been debunked a couple of times. At the end of the day, not all touches are made equal, and not all bodies are made equal. And we see guys get injured on less touches than, like, I mean, a perfect example is Ezekiel Elliott. The dude missed so few games despite getting a shitload of touches in college and in the NFL. At the end of the day, it was just age. Henry, not too different from that standpoint either. And it's just like, at the end of the day, if a guy is proven durable, it's less of a concern because like the total touches thing is just not, it's not reliable. It's very noisy, and running back in and of itself is a high injury position, not too much higher than wide receiver with the last decade of data. So I think like keeping that in mind, it's attributing too much to a very noisy and somewhat debunked stat as far as like just total touches. In fact, if anything, we know that touches are highly correlated with like likelihood to like work out. Like a college running back's ability to handle a large workload is a very strong signal that an NFL staff will give him a large workload, which i.e. volume is king when it comes to some of these metrics. So there's another reason why I'm in on Genty is because he proved he could be the workhorse rushing and receiving, not be phased out, game script or otherwise. And based on the NFL's draft capital perception, that seems like the NFL views him as like a blue chip player from what we've heard. And part of that is just because of his ability to do it in college, regardless of, competition. And if the NFL believes that just in year one, I'm going to be buying because history tells me that's a pretty safe bet if I zoom out just a little bit from like the granular. But your granular points are why he might not, why he might struggle to hit ADP for opportunity cost reasons. Some of these guys going around him absolutely could go nuke and smash. Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, all could do what they did, in the playoffs. Jonathan Taylor, if he does what he does in the playoffs all year long, he's a first-round running back. He doesn't do that, sadly, and I think that's the only reason why he's going in the second round. And it's why I want to make sure he's in my arsenal And so it's a good reason to diversify, but I'd be pretty terrified of going 0 just because of those historical reasons.
Hard takes, man. I'm not taking any Gen
I respect
unless,
it.
unless he falls,
I respect
unless
it, but
he
I
falls
gotta put it out there to the universe. Otherwise, it seems like I'm
We're-
condoning it.
We're
We're
gonna circle
officially-
back on this
Yeah,
for sure.
we're officially on DK watch. I want to get to DK too because its ADP
Yeah.
is 44. We're at pick 53. We're still waiting for him to come off the board. I want to hear your guys' take on where should DK be going? Are you taking Pickens over DK? Should it be like the Niners thing where they all kind of go back to back to back? Should it just be DK, Pickens back to back? And where should they be going?
I think it's DK over Pickens. I think he's the
Okay.
better overall wide receiver, and I don't think either of you are going to argue that. Maybe, but I don't think so.
I just give you 100 million reasons not to disagree. with that.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
exactly. And they're
55.
not giving that to Pickens. So I don't know if Pickens is on the chopping block, on the trade block, because he's obviously asking for a new contract. I don't think that's going to happen, at least not from the Steelers, at least definitely not this year. But yeah, I think 55 might be a little heavy for DK. Like, Cortland Sutton for me. I guess it is a terrible range of wide receivers. So
yeah, I think the only thing propping him up is like the names above them or the names below them aren't exactly exciting or enticing. And also until the projections change, people will in a pinch go like, well, he's projected for more points, even though the projection
and name recognition, right? I know DK. Let's draft him. But I'm happy he's going. I'll just say that I'm happy he's going past all of these wide receivers: the Devontae Smith, Olave, Waddle, Flowers. He deserves to go past all of them, and now he is. That makes sense. But go ahead.
I see the reason for taking him over Debo in half PPR. Outside of that, he should probably go around Brandon Ayuk, maybe like behind Ayuk.
Yeah, I mean, but what happens to Judy? Right? Who do we like here? Sutton, I think could make some sense.
I like Sutton. Ever since DK got traded to Pittsburgh, I love Sutton. I was worried Sutton might be traded to Pittsburgh like he almost was last year.
Yeah.
Let's rip Sutton, and then do we want to touch at running back or stick with
running back? We could go San Francisco guy down there.
At running back?
No, Jawan Jennings.
Oh, okay.
I like Jawan.
I like Jawan too. So I mean, you guys are talking again with
let's go Jawan.
There. Jawan or DK?
DK went.
Yeah, I'm saying in general.
Oh,
Jawan,
okay.
No,
Jawan or Pickens?
Ooh.
Jawan.
Over Pickens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah. If you're gonna take Jawan over DK, then definitely Jawan over Pickens.
Yeah. I think.
So you were taking Jawan over DK.
Yeah.
I'm taking Jawan over both. Yeah.
I would too. Yeah.
I think DK and Pickens probably need to go pretty much back to back, like around Ridley and Ayuk. Like if Ayuk was healthy, Ayuk's going over both guys, and I think that's correct based on how they've been able to like their yards per route run, targets per route run, and efficiency.
But then what do you do with Judy here?
I've taken Judy once.
I'm 0% too. I'm 0%.
I'm not really on Judy.
That feels like the most fraudulent finish of all time. And the report is that they're throwing everything at quarterback this year, but it's all cheap, affordable shit. So get ready for like the first like NFL tankathon Madden experience of like like Pickett, not Winston apparently, and whoever throwing the ball. And it's like if they're doing everything but taking a quarterback at 2, the offense is going to suck. And if they take a quarterback, it's not the quarterback 1. And so you're hoping it's like really good. But like your choices are Dart, who I really do like, and then Sanders, who takes a shit ton of sacks. And it's just like, I'm probably too granular here, but it just feels like Judy just feels like a guy we always buy when he finishes strong, and we always fade when he finishes poorly. And I'd rather just go after guys who have just historically better. They've done better more consistently because I think that matters for the team. I think the team did well to acquire him on the cheap and extend him on the cheap, especially seeing what these receivers are getting on the market. But they just can't figure out this quarterback thing. And that's a huge problem when it comes to scoring points. Last I checked.
Well, it's going to be, and it's going to be Kenny Pickett and probably Cam Ward, in my opinion, because you have to be cheap. You have to be cheap at quarterback. That's why they traded for Pickett, because he's on a rookie deal. The last year of his rookie deal, former first-round pick, you might as well, take a shot on that. And then he competes with whoever they bring in, and Watson's just dead, which is fine. So yeah, it has to be Cam Ward, realistically, unless they believe in Sanders more.
Well, the smoke is that the Giants or the Titans will draft Ward 1. That's why I say like it's QB2 or plus. And it seems like the Browns know that too. It seems like the Browns are not willing to trade up to 1 because they need all the draft assets they can get. And the Giants are going to get the quarterbacks they want, unless the Tennessee Titans get cold feet and just pull the trigger on QB1. And it seems like the Browns, from the smoke I've read, they don't want to go quarterback at 2 because it doesn't align.
I wouldn't want to go quarterback this year at all.
So that's my thing. It's like the best Judy out is they get Kirk Cousins after the draft and they've drafted no one. Well, that's the best route, and that is a terrifying bet to make right now for me.
And the Falcons have to cut Kirk Cousins and pay him that money.
Or the Browns trade. They work out a trade to like take on whatever.
But the Browns can't take that contract.
I know. That's why it seems like there's going to be some like weird Osweiler situation where they trade more.
No, it's a Russell Wilson. Like they have to cut him, and then they pay him. So then he takes the league minimum sort of thing with the Browns, like Russell Wilson did with the Steelers. Yeah. That's the only thing that works for Cousins to end up
in like Cleveland. 6 days they already owe Kirk a chunk of money in 2026 if they keep him on. It's a the Brown situation's so fucked and cursed.
Well, they did it to themselves. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I don't feel bad for him, but I'm saying like investing in offensive pieces in the top 100 does not feel good.
Yeah. All right, real quick on Jawan, because I think I talked about this on my stream a little bit yesterday too. Maybe I just love leaking the DMs. I did talk about this yesterday.
You do love leaking. You're a gossip girl.
I don't share them though. I just read them. And
that is sharing them.
Like this is funny and it's content, so it was good. I was dying when Hollywood signed with the Chiefs. And Eric in the DMs was talking. He goes, Hollywood Browns CLV, I'll take him over Jawan. And then you go, I thought you said you wanted to make money. And then Eric goes, Hollywood is good and fast. Jawan is not. That sent me, dude. What he said.
Oh, man.
Hollywood is good and fast. Jawan is not.
Eric knows how to
get it. Matters.
He knows how to troll.
And he was memeing
like that's got to be it's a bit, obviously.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours later, he goes, I wouldn't, though.
It's probably yeah. And then and then one more thing real quick, emo Cowboy. So I was substituting today and I had a couple kids from the basketball team that I coach, and they were like watching my stream in class, and I was like, dude, this is kind of
ooh, that's
I know. Well. But then so get this, some kid, one of the kid that I coach, like I know him pretty well. He just goes, who's emo Cowboy?
Hold on. We'll return to this in a sec. I think Bo and Ibuka.
What do we do? Bo, I'm good with that. Yeah, although Tony P gets a bump after today, I think.
I like Tony P.
Actually, let's take Pollard because we need running back here. Like we're falling a little behind. I think.
Then
we don't need Bo.
Yeah, we don't need Bo because we have Trevor and Penix that we could just pull up.
Bo knows. All right.
All right.
Bo
and Tony P.
All right.
Bo and Tony P.
Backdoor Bo and Tony P. That sounds sexual.
Love
I like it.
Yeah. No, Pollard gets a bump after today. That was a decent get for them. So, he definitely gets the bump.
Yeah, I mean, the coach speaking that contract, I don't see how they would go away from him. They ran him into the ground despite him running on one leg. Like he's there and their guy for at least the next year, and it seems like they're not. They're apparently the smoke about Russ to Tennessee is not as real. So they're either Cam Ward or they're Kirk Cousins.
Let's do this. Let's do this game since we're on Steelers quarterback options. It's obviously Russ and Aaron Rodgers, right? That's it. It has to be one of those two.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so who do you prefer? Tyler, go. PPRTyler, go first.
Aaron Rodgers for sure. It's not even close.
Okay, emo.
The sawed-off shotgun straight to the temple. It's probably Rodgers simply because his willingness. Russ wasn't bad when passing, but Arthur Smith apparently got onto him about like calling out of those plays. So now it's like, I think Aaron Rodgers has enough backing in like, I won a Super Bowl. I haven't fallen off. It was just this Achilles, blah, blah, blah. If he comes in for a good contract, he's got enough backing to maybe big dick Arthur Smith, whereas Russ gets big dicked by Arthur Smith. And if this offense is going to be efficient at all from like a macro standpoint, it's going to be the quarterback taking over for a long stretch or forcing Arthur out. And it's not Russ that can do that. It's Rodgers. Rodgers is very good. Rodgers is the hot girlfriend. He will force whoever he wants out and be successful at it, where he'll burn the whole thing down. But also, like, from a passing perspective, he seemed to really come on strong late. It just is an odd fit with two guys that kind of quit on routes, don't give their all play to play, and are a little whatever they want to do out on the play. So it also feels like
that's the good thing for Rodgers, though. Like, he's the I'm gonna stand, 2 to 4 yards behind the center. You stand over there. You stand over there. Whichever one of you is getting single coverage, I'm going to throw it to you. Back shoulder.
Like, wait,
come back.
What route? That's a problem.
maybe, but Rodgers doesn't like a lot of motion, so he's just like, hey, you stand there, run your route, and I'm going to throw you the ball, and whatever happens, kind of thing.
I do love that an old man is like, oh, too much motion.
Yeah. Don't move. You stand there. You stand there. I know where you are.
Yeah,
you have your sides of the field. Whichever one you get single coverage, I'm going to throw you the ball.
I think from a pre-snap,
whatever route it is.
Yeah, I think from a pre-snap and a post-snap, if we're saying the O-line is going to be strong to good and mobility is not a limiting factor, because that is certainly a limiting factor for even in old age. Russ could scoot a little bit, and Rodgers is like, I'm not doing that. But I think Rodgers' passing skills still seem fine enough for those guys to get there. It's just I think from a pace and style, it probably fits. The personality is going to clash like week one, and I am interested to see who outlasts who, because Arthur Smith is not going to get along with Rodgers at all. It's Captain Ayahuasca versus FedEx Boy. Like, it's going to be interesting.
Hey, no shame on FedEx Boy. All right.
Hey, I'm going to shit on Nepo Baby.
Here's my okay.
You don't know? His dad owns FedEx, brother.
I know his dad owns FedEx. I know everything there is to know about Arthur Smith. He was my
billionaires just scissoring each other in back rooms.
Okay, but like he could have been like a FedEx like exec and done nothing with his life. He decided to
ruin fantasy life.
Grind it out like NFL assist. Like, it sucks getting into the NFL. So I think he gets respect for that.
Where are we going with this pick here?
I think Kelsey at ADP is fine.
Najee's gone, right? He's gone.
I would imagine.
He's not lurking. Yeah. Okay.
No.
Okay.
I think it's worthwhile going
Mims.
Let's do that.
Mims is the stack. And
then,
I would pull up one of Trevor or Penix to make sure we don't get boxed out of our quarterback stack, because waiting on the turn is dicey.
I don't mind that. Let's do Lawrence then.
Yeah, let's go Lawrence.
Let's do T-Law.
There's a better chance we get both guys, but I want to for sure get one. And the quarterbacks in these drafts are so schizophrenic. And as you saw,
lots of pieces in Jacksonville.
I mean, this whole range is like whatever. I won't be surprised when half this range is, useless to meh compared to other pieces of the draft later on. So I never feel bad reaching for my quarterbacks.
Yeah, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. I appreciate all the help and all the push from PPRTyler, EMO Cowboy on the Fantasy Sanctuary. Their links are below, so click on if you're not following them, which I would assume you are, hit those links and go subscribe over there as well. But yeah, hit that like button. If we get to 500 subs in the next, I don't know, it should happen relatively quick. It seems it's going pretty quick, but 500 subs before the NFL draft, 12-hour live stream. I'm confident both of these handsome gentlemen be willing to come on and chat for an hour, and we'll have some fun with that. So hit that like button.
I have a 3-hour chatting minimum.
I'll break it up. You can come on twice.
I have a 24-hour chat.
Or just an open stream.
If you want me, you gotta double it.
But
here's has that been done before? Has there been a 24-hour live stream where 2 people were on the entire time? Not again. I'm talking about like for fantasy football specifically.
I mean, that sounds like it would make it less miserable, at least in like the lulls.
But how fun would it be to be miserable with somebody else?
It would be fun.
It depends on who that someone else is.
Yeah.
I can see. I would pay money to watch you and Eric do a 20.
Oh, dude, we would get shut down so fast. It would get so ugly so fast for sure. Because
5 hours in, 5 hours in.
Oh, I take the under.
Yeah, do it on his channel. Do it on his channel. So when it's demonetized and canceled, just
Eric,
banned, then
someone's pulling the Ace Ventura straight up 3 hours in and being like, "You can talk to my ass."
All right, next one: Giants QB options. Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson.
Cam Ward.
Or Cam Ward.
Yeah, Cam
or
Ward.
Shedeur Sanders. You guys think the Giants actually give away some draft capital to move from 3 to 1 and get Cam Ward?
It's Dable. Oh wait, what do we got? Cole.
So what it boils down to is whoever they pick, whoever these guys pick, that's both Joe Shane's job and Brian Dable's job on the line. So who are they going to hitch their? I know. So who are they going to hitch their wagon to?
It sounds like seriously, it sounds like for the last month, every source I follow and trust year over year since Indy has said they are so fucking terrified of losing their jobs. They want to do both things, Rodgers and Cam Ward. They want to get Rodgers, they want to trade up for Ward, and they want to just have an answer no matter what happens, which is the most cowardly cuck beta shit ever. But that is where they've backed themselves into after 3 years of man.
But don't you think they'd have to clear that with ownership potentially?
Ownership going, I don't care, make it happen or you're gone. The Maras have too much leash, but it sounds like they understand they have to try to go to the playoffs and have an answer at quarterback, and they've decided the way to do that is with Aaron Rodgers and Cam Ward. And all the smoke was they've done a shit ton of homework on Sanders, and then immediately in the combine, only one quarterback and one trade has been reported like multiple times, and it's Giants and Ward. So it seems like they could pitch to the Maras, hey, Ward's got great tools, but he could probably sit for a year, which means like 6 to 8 games. And then let's see what we can do with Rodgers and yada, yada. And it just seems like that's what they want. And it seems like the Steelers making a pitch for Rodgers is throwing a wrench into some of that, which makes Russ the backup bridge, apparently, the way the tea leaves are being read.
What do you think, PPR?
Yeah, it's got to be Ward, man. Because here's the thing. It's like, I think what Emo Cowboy said is right. If they don't win, like, what's the minimum amount of games they have to win this year? Like, they gotta win like at
10.
least, like 8 or 9 or 10. Like 9.
No, 8 doesn't get it done.
Yeah, probably 9.
Nine, at least a winning season, right? Then you're on the way.
I think they just need to have like, okay, here's like the fans and ownership need to see a path where it's like, okay, you know what? Next year, maybe we have a shot at the playoffs. Like, at least have that hope of like, oh, we finished, something like that, where it's like the time for excuses is done. They've done the Daniel Jones thing. They've done whatever they did last year at QB. Like, it's over. There's no more excuses now. You're in a prime spot to either bring in a quarterback or draft a quarterback. And if they do both, like, they just whatever. So I personally just see Ward and Neighbors would be fun. Rodgers and Neighbors is fun too. But I think people are a little down on Ward. They're saying it's a bad QB class. I mean, but Ward is like definitely above everybody else. And like consensusly above everybody else. Like, I don't think he's as bad as some people may think he is. I kind of like Ward. I think he can be fine. I think he might even be better in the NFL than he was in college, just because I feel like he looks like an NFL quarterback to me when I watch him.
I'll give my take in a second here. In a nutshell, in a vacuum, I agree with all that. But do we want to go Penix and just clear up our quarterback room?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And then we're falling behind our running back. So what do we figure here?
Cook and Pollard. It's 2 RB1s. We're good. We're Gucci. Neil. Benson? I know Neil. I'm Neil or Benson. I know Ty is high on Neil, and Benson got a lot of good coach speak, so I'm good with either.
Yeah,
definitely Penix. I like Benson or Neil too. I'm good with either one. So let's do Let's do Neil, I guess. We're all kind of on board. I'm falling behind. I'm only at 9% now. So let's bring up some Neil. Let's do that. But I in a vacuum, I agree with all that. I think you got to bring in somebody. I think it's going to end up being Russell Wilson because they don't have any other choice. I think Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh, and that's just where we're at. So it's going to be Russell Wilson for a season. My prediction is Will Howard. I think Will Howard is more ready to start an NFL game, honestly, than even Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is my quarterback one. I think long term, he would be the better quarterback in the NFL. But if you gun to my head, if I had to start one of these quarterbacks today, it would be Will Howard over definitely Shedeur Sanders and even Cam Ward. I don't. Yeah, no, I'm not on Shedeur. I actually have Shedeur as my QB2. I think I believe.
So you have
Dart. He cannot start. He cannot start as a rookie.
Shedeur?
Yeah, Shedeur. Shedeur cannot start as a rookie. He cannot start as a rookie. He will get murdered. So he can't start as a rookie. But if you watch his film and when he gets time and when he does the right things, he's got a live arm and he's super accurate. But it's he's just fucking doing 3 backflips and 2 360s before he throws the ball. He's trying to do this Patrick Mahomes, Caleb Williams.
It's Johnny Manziel, and that didn't work well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's that's the path he's going down. So it's man, you need to get a good quarterback coach. Needs to get a hold of you, slow you the fuck down, and then just do the right things. Step up in the pocket, keep your feet on the ground, and throw the fucking football. And when he does that, he can do it very well. So it's just, is he ever going to get to that point? Because he's been allowed to do whatever he's wanted to do for his whole career, right? Yeah. So, and he didn't even win, man. He's not even a winner. He didn't even win in college. He's 0-3 in bowl games, and that includes 2 fucking bowl games with Jackson State. How do you not win? Yeah. Shedeur, how do you not win? How do you not win those bowl games? If you have Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, who are allegedly 2 top 5 picks in the NFL draft, you should beat the shit out of North Carolina Central A&T. Fuck, that's ridiculous to me. So
because you forget this game's all about heart, brother.
Obviously,
you know who I like though?
Yeah.
Who
not
should
a skill
be
game.
Someone who should be mentioned in these QB rankings that no one really talks about, but I feel like everyone that I listen to is kind of in on Tyler Shook out of Louisville. And I kind of see the injuries, I get it, but what you saw what he put on tape this year, he can fucking throw the ball, man. I kind of
White Lightning? What White Lightning? 4.64 White Lightning?
Yeah, come on. He's 6'3", 6'4", too. He's a big boy running that fast.
He's 6'5", 225. He's
6'6" or something. Yeah. I think he's a high end. I think his ceiling is a high end backup though. I think I like him.
Yeah,
he'd be a good quarterback, but he's not going to be a starter in the NFL. I don't think.
No, he's too fucking old. Let's be honest, guys.
He's old, but look at what he just did though. His best tape was this season at least.
And
he just has never been able to stay healthy either. He can't stay healthy in college. How are you gonna stay healthy in the men's league, man?
Look, he may have backed up Justin Herbert in Justin Herbert's junior year at Oregon. We don't have to talk about that though. I don't want to talk about that.
I think it's very pertinent to talk about.
Yeah, he is the same age as T-Law. He's the same age as
matters. If you dominate when you're fucking old in college, that's not a good thing. That's expected.
But quarterback's different, man. Quarterback's different.
It's not. Historically, the oldest quarterbacks the oldest quarterbacks fail time and time again.
Knicks.
But this is wait. This is gonna start to change. I agree with PPR, but only over the last 2 seasons. Because with NIL, guys are going to stay longer. Even what's his name, who's at Miami now? He's just at Georgia. Carson Beck. He goes back to school. He's got 2 fucking Lambos playing in Miami. He gets them both stolen first week in Florida. So good for him. But he's getting that NIL money to stay in college before he goes pro. He wasn't ready anyways. He's not very good. But either way, guys are going to start to stay longer because of NIL money, and then they'll be more NFL ready. But Tyler Shock's still not. He's not going to be.
All right, I found my brand. I'm going to be a Tyler Shock defender. That's. I guess that's where we're going with this.
Beauty. Someone's got to do it. You got to wear that.
Yep. All right.
I think the thing about Knicks though was he was pretty solid his entire career, and there was desperation in the pairing. I said solid. I didn't say elite. Relax. And then and the pairing made it work. In Peyton's quick hitter system, it worked.
Yes.
He's not going to
and he can run around a little.
If the Broncos didn't draft him, I think he would have fell to the second round.
And and he's very near his ceiling, and that's fine on his rookie contract. It's not good,
Yeah.
Couple running backs here. What are we thinking?
We also have a tight
Done at
For
QB.
sure one.
Who?
And then
Do you guys
I
like
said for
Jerome
sure.
Ford at all? Like,
I like
Yeah.
Ford.
he might
I like
just be like the backup. Even if they don't draft him, but he can just be the fucking starter.
I like Ford, and I don't mind Higgins.
I love
here to come.
Algier. I love Algier.
I love Algier as well. Algier does stack too. If you want to double tap running back, I think that makes
I'd
sense.
rather not take the backup running back in a stack. Like, I don't think
tight
that
end.
makes
I like.
You never know in the playoffs.
true. But
Higgins or Otten makes sense.
Yeah,
I like Higgins quite a bit. Yeah,
Let's just do Higgins.
let's
All
do
right,
that.
fuck it.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I guess, but I'm not like for a fifth running back. Do we really need it? I'd rather take a shot on a late rookie or someone late in the draft than force in Algier because he stacks as a backup running back. I mean, yeah, you don't know in the playoffs, but 13 catches.
Can you check is Javonte off the board yet? Because he was off the board this time in my other draft. I'm curious if he's off the board yet.
If he is, that's awesome.
He's not. Okay,
No,
he's not.
okay.
And it's interesting. Were you taking Javonte?
I'm 5%
Were you guys taking
Javonte. Let's.
Where you
Denver
taking
Ezekiel Elliott.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
He sucked ass last year.
yeah. He went at round. I was telling Cody earlier in the pre-lobby. He went 13th, 12th round in my draft.
Honestly, like he maybe moves ahead of Jordan Mason, and that's about it. Like maybe Eckler, I guess.
Yeah,
He's
out.
probably going ahead Isaiah Garindo and probably ahead of Tyler Algier. People say he's the starter for now, but like I don't know if people saw that the report that came out from the insider that said Rico's not coming back because they just signed Javonte and they plan to add a running back in the draft. And it's like, that
Plus,
could be.
We were talking earlier, it was $3 fucking million. He might not even make the team still. Like,
now, to be fair,
we
did say that about J.K. Dobbins and $500,000 last year. But
yes,
true.
I'm sick and tired of hearing that comp because guess what? J.K. Dobbins had like elite explosion in speed. We saw it in the NFL. And Javonte Williams was always fucking overrated because his RAS had no elite traits. He was great to good across the board, torn ACL young. I'm sorry, it happened to Blake Corum. It sapped your juice. Move along. Like he's just not that good.
Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman are both J.K. Dobbins slappies. And like who on the Cowboys is going to be, pounding the table for Javonte Williams?
Jerry Jones, if he has a huge
I guess, yeah.
Get ready to learn how to
get that penis out there.
If he thought that, he would have drafted Chris Jones in the first round.
If I'm a Javonte drafter, I understand you don't need that many spike weeks, but I would be terrified of adding someone who had almost the worst tackle breaking yards after contact and like burst in efficiency last year with this running back class. Almost every running back on the board has good to awesome speed. And the second the camp opens up and Cement Shoes Javonte is getting lapped by the rookie, it's not going to end well.
I think he ran even like a 4.6 at the combine before he ripped up his knee.
Not good. Like
he's the running back equivalent of Dalton Schultz, just catch and fall down tight end.
Dude,
he is so the perfect replacement for Zeke. And by the way, Zeke was double paid last year. So it's about the same price they paid Zeke last year for double pays. And it's like his spike is what he did in Denver, which was, oh shit, he got a second goal line touch and touchdown. That 18 points is fitting into my roster for the first and last time. Like that's
it right there.
it's gonna be brutal if they get anybody with juice. And unfortunately, there's a lot of dudes with juice.
Yeah, I agree. Like even paying him the $3 million, like again, that doesn't guarantee shit. That doesn't mean he's on the team. Like he could be cut easily.
It was a good landing spot, but it's arguably not good that you got benched for a rookie fullback, a rookie running back that also got benched multiple times and let go.
Dude who's half your size.
Dallas got a great deal on not having to pay Royce Freeman and whoever the fuck else they bring in next year. They got one guy for the price of two, but they know that he's their emergency pass down back, and that's it.
Do we want to take Javonte here? Or?
Oh, dude, we gotta load up. All that said, to the moon.
Yeah.
All that said, we're about to take Javonte right now.
We voted him back to us, sucker.
I don't know, Pat Fryermuth maybe with the the two guys running fast on the outside, just wide open underneath.
Ertz, man, like Ertz on Washington. I don't know.
Ertz and Kate Otten both running all the routes with touchdown upside seem nice too.
Yeah,
we could double tap. Yeah, we could double tap tight end here.
And Otten is attached to a good offense. Like that should
like
matter.
too. Yeah.
And if these are my only two guys, I'd be very
comfortable. Fryermuth now, or
well, shit, we got Aaron Rodgers' new favorite tight end.
I do actually like Fryermuth though.
I think Fryermuth is
Fryermuth
is fine.
Around an ADP value on there too.
Yeah.
I genuinely do think it does open it wide open for him in the middle of the field to just, catch and fall down. He's got a little juice to him as well, and the fans love him. So the coaching staff loves him.
I think he's a good fit for Rodgers as far as like find the soft spot in the zone, sit down, catch.
Yeah.
But I'm worried. I'm worried about Arthur Smith deciding that he needs to use his third tight end to run the route. But is again.
Well, luckily Jonnu Smith can't come, so we should be all right.
But unluckily, Darnell Washington is like just the bigger faster Jonnu Smith.
Didn't they?
He could just fall in love with someone in the draft too.
A good amount of play last year. Like he played quite a bit.
Yeah, as a sixth offensive lineman, as another
Connor Hayward too. They got Connor Hayward. I had a tweet that went viral last year because I think it was when Arthur Smith signed with the Steelers. I quote tweeted it, and I did that Max Kellerman. I said Arthur Smith on 4th and goal for the game, throwing a back shoulder fade to Connor Hayward, and the video was that Max Kellerman open shot like I want Iguodala. that's the epitome of the Arthur Smith experience right there. I want Iguodala.
Yeah, I don't know how he managed to finagle his way into that job, if I'm being honest. Do you think he did
a bad job last year? Like a genuine question.
Kinda.
Like they don't have anyone. They don't have fucking anybody there. It's Pickens and no one. It's literally no one.
They tried to get Ayuk and Sutton, and neither team.
They
well, actually, no. I take that back. San Francisco did bite. If you read the Mike Silver report,
I saw that. Yep.
This weekend, Shanahan was like, no, running up the stairs to like nix the trade. It was almost Ayuk and Pickens. And then Pickens got benched for being a little bitch on the field and throwing a tantrum, and that shit does not go away, as we just saw with the 49ers trying to trade Ayuk, who then threw a temper tantrum after getting paid. Like that shit does not end well with coaches that are like all ball. And Arthur Smith.
They just told, like somebody said earlier, they just gave Pickens 100 million reasons to not want to be in Pittsburgh anymore. Because it's not going to end well. That's for sure. They're clearly telling him like,
you throwing him the ball.
This is your replacement. Like. Do better or you're out, and we don't really care either way. You're not getting a contract from us. Yeah. You're gonna get franchise tagged, if anything, and then we'll figure it out from there. Like that's kind of what this trade tells me about how they feel about George Pickens. That's for sure. So
I do think that potentially though, if Metcalf and Rodgers can't get on the same page, assuming it's Rodgers, with like some of the back shoulder timing and stuff, it probably, if Pickens plays ball. Fryermuth and Pickens are probably the best like fits stylistically for quick yak stuff and quick zone sit down. Metcalf has never been that like smooth, precise route runner. He's more of like explosive play thing. So I think Metcalf's role could be more beneficial for like deeper targets. But I do think the yak that Fryermuth and Pickens have in their repertoire is a good thing for this offense. That we've seen Rodgers like to throw those like little bubble screens and stuff, and that's not really Metcalf's game. So I could see that. I could see that being like a better fit for that if it goes that way. I just see like the slants, the Pickens slants, and it's like if you can spam that, make it work.
Someone's got to run a slant. Yeah, like it's it's not the most difficult route in the NFL, but I mean, if done really well, like Devontae, then obviously you can just smash. Or like AJ Brown, Debo when he was doing it well, not quite anymore, but AJ Brown, you can't
run a slant when you're eating the slant. That's all I'm saying. Debo.
I okay, how much better do you think DK is than Pickens? Because I think it's a little closer. Like Pickens is a much better contested catch guy.
I agree with that. That is
Yeah,
DK
it's not a
Metcalf
lot.
showed he struggled with the contested catch thing.
Like DK is like a big physical receiver, but like when's the last highlight you saw of like DK like going up and getting there, like making a spectacular, like that's not really his game. Like
I remember all the times he didn't last year because I had a lot of him and it cost me a lot of money.
Like Pickens is a better like contested catch guy, like
Rodgers doesn't throw a lot of contested catches. He drops it in the bucket.
But I think like red zone stuff, like that's more like Pickens could definitely be the red zone. I
agree with you there. I do agree with you there.
Yeah.
Where do we want to go here? Where do we want to go here? We got to bring in. Oh man, we missed out on. That's all right. I vote we bring in Parker Washington with Brian Thomas in the Jacksonville.
What about Gabe Davis?
What about Diami Brown?
No. Ooh, Diami Brown. Jacksonville, right?
Okay, we can do Diami, even though I don't.
Didn't he get like 10 mil?
Yeah, 11 or 12 or something.
It was up to 10. Yeah. Okay. Higbee gets us done with tight end. Justice Hill is a good back and a good offense. Probably has his same role.
Jordan James, Rocket Sanders, I like.
I'm also okay with those two guys. And then Lloyd.
Or we could draft the RB1 in Denver.
Bro, I like Estimate. I like Estimate, but I do.
I'm down to do it. I don't like him at all, but I'll do it.
Let's do. How about Marshawn Lloyd?
I like Lloyd.
Let's go Lloyd.
Let's do Lloyd. So my thing with Audric Estimate, I'm 24% in the big board, 28% overall. I think that it's entirely on the table. He could have that Kyron Williams type of career arc. It's the parallels are extremely similar. The only problem would be I'm off the hook in free agency now. Najee Harris, if Najee went to Denver, that fucks me, but I can just stop drafting him. That makes it okay. So I'm off the hook in free agency as far as running back. No running back that's out there can go to Denver that's going to really be a problem for Audric Estimate. There's tons in the draft, don't get me wrong, and I fully expect them to draft somebody, but as long as it's not like Damian Martinez or like Taj Brooks or someone much, much better, like first, second round running back, obviously that kills it too. But if it's like a third, fourth, fifth round running back, that's more like a Rashard Smith or like a LaQuint Allen, like hopefully he's getting his joker. Those are the two that would fit the mold for his, joker position that he likes. Then I'm okay. If it's a pass catching type of running back, I'm fine with that role that you're getting out of Audric Estimate in the fucking 18th, 19th, 20th round where it's completely free. And if I'm wrong, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, give me that touchdown upside in the 20th round for a guy that could be honestly a league winner if he gets that role. My comp for Audric Estimate coming out of college was Mark Ingram. And then he goes to a Sean Payton offense. Hopefully that's his Mark Ingram to whoever's going to be, Alvin Kamara. That's my rationale, and I'm kind of sticking to it. And I'm out of the woods of free agency, so there's one hurdle.
I mean, you're not.
J.K. Dobbins.
I was going to say there's like Rico Dowdle and J.K. Dobbins are both upgrade. My problem with Audric is that they basically sent him to IR for fumbling the first time, and then they benched him in a playoff game, and they effectively split up his role between a fullback in Burton and then McLaughlin.
I'm not going to argue like I'm wrong. Like I'm
no.
Wrong.
And so, like my concern is that the Kyron Williams thesis requires your coaching staff to like you, and Peyton loves to hate people if you're not from the Saints. Apparently, that's what I've learned. And it's a tough look, and it's a loaded class, and the free agents available will probably be pretty reasonable gets for what they have available. The Cowboys can't afford to pay a running back a lot of money. The Broncos can. They have a rookie quarterback. And Peyton mentioned adding a running back somewhere, somehow, draft or free agency or both to improve the run game a bunch of times before and after Indy. And so
I agree. And
so
I know they will.
Yeah, for Estimate to hit, he's got to outplay whoever they add. And then also Peyton has to trust him to keep doing that. And I just don't trust Peyton a whole lot. So I'd rather take shots on the wide receivers because theoretically those guys are harder to scheme out. He's done it with them though. Jordan Humphreys ran more routes than Marvin Mims to close his rookie year. So to your point, the volatility runs both ways with Sean Payton. And I've taken some Audric, but I just won't be surprised if this is a name we never hear of again because he was a late pick that didn't have a good rookie year with. What's keeping Peyton from doing what Dennis Allen did to Kendra Miller for 2 years? Just like, nah, I don't like you. You're not.
Isn't Dennis Allen in Denver too?
No, he's in Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah. That would be funny though.
Who's also
reminds me of that Bates Kendra. Every conversation, he's like, dude, knock it off, man. I didn't ask about Kendra.
Yeah. No, and I put a bet in today. Chicago's gonna be a fucking wagon. I put a bet in the Chicago Bears win the division.
What are the odds of that?
7.5 to 1. I parlayed it up with the Buffalo Bills, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the LA Rams.
You lost me. You lost me.
What do you mean?
Buccaneers.
Well, who you?
Mr. Atlanta is like, no, that's my.
Okay.
Michael.
Sorry about it. Sorry about it, but
I swear to God, I'll kill you.
What do we do with
our last Stroud throws 14,000?
Jordan James is not the worst dart this late.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be.
I also don't mind Trevor Etienne had some like nice missed tackles forced in college. It seems interesting.
Good combine too.
Where are you at with number 1, Jarquez Hunter, my guy?
That's your guy.
13%. Taj Brooks looked like he went. I don't mind Taj Brooks.
Oh, he's right there. I like Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue is like a nice third down, but very explosive. Kind of like Keaton Mitchell.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. We need a tight end probably as well. But who do we want at running back? We could go Jordan James.
We don't need a tight end. We have Otten and Ertz. I feel pretty comfy with that.
Or is the boy Mason Taylor there?
Freiermuth and Ertz.
I don't like Mason Taylor. He seems like Nepo.
I like Fant. I know like Emo. You don't like Fant.
My language. Let's go.
I like Fant.
Why do you like Fant? Because even I'm out.
Because Clint Kubiak supported multiple tight ends last year.
Noah Gray, guys,
and there's no other wide receivers.
Noah Gray here makes a lot of sense.
We could take
if you want a tight end, like.
Okay, we'll do Noah Gray, but let me tell you.
Please do.
So Foster Moreau, Taysom Hill, and Juwan Johnson all were fantasy relevant last year at the tight end position in New Orleans. They have no fucking wide receivers to throw the ball to unless you like Jake Bobo, right? So it's going to be wide open. They run a lot of 2 tight end sets. They're going to be on the field. I know I like Barner and Fant, so I'm drafting both of them. And Fant's a freak, man. Former first-round pick.
Oh, trust
athletic
me.
freak.
I know this song and dance.
Look at the production, though. Like, how do you say he's not a 20th round pick?
Fucking week 18, the one week that doesn't fucking matter.
But how can you say he's not a 20th round pick? Like that stat profile with the new offensive coordinator.
Can I say why it's not worth the 20th round?
Yeah, I'm in between. So yeah, make the
regardless, you can't say it's not a good 20th round click because 20th round click is whatever.
Well, sure, but like as far as like new OC, like they are currently retooling the offense to do a certain thing. We know Fant struggles with being like a tight end that can block and release. That was one of his whole minus selling points for like being in on run. I mean, the coaches have admitted like he's not. We have to sub him out for some of these like heavier packages, and so the problem is like. What happens when they decide that they want to go get Juwan Johnson, who's a free agent, Tyler Conklin, who's a free agent, and there's a very talented rookie class, and they just reset the tight ends in their own image to run what they want to run. And no offense, the odd man out, who was not paid, that much. They have no problem moving on from guys that didn't work. We've seen that happen now twice with guys that didn't fit into their plans the way they wanted it to, and tight ends all dictated on touchdown upside. You likely want to be in on play action passes for that. Fant in his career likely hasn't. And he's been kind of on like a steady decline of like not really being relevant to the team outside of some random pop passes. And that's my concern.
How is Seattle going to pay for 2 more tight ends or any tight end to come in free agency? Like, yeah, if you want to say the draft, sure. We can always say the draft.
I think they just saved money on Darnold's contract versus Geno's contract. It sounds like they saved like $12 million per year.
I mean, Similar. We'll see what he signs. I think it'll be whatever. It'll be very, very similar, I think. But either way, they just shelled out like $30 million for Darnold. So I don't know.
I mean,
I'm gonna be
happening
drafting
in
Fant. I like Fant in that offense. In the Kubiak offense, running backs, tight ends. That's how I see it. And I'm drafting the shit out of Kenny Walker, I'll tell you that. And then
I like the
Charbonnet.
Walker fit. Yeah. If Fant is still within the top 2 tight ends on the team come May, we're having a different discussion.
You can always adjust in the spring or in the summer, but
I have a sneaking suspicion that come May, there's going to be 3 more tight ends that weren't on this team today, and it's his job to lose, not to win, is my concern.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna draft no Fant. I'm still gonna draft
power to you, my man.
Yeah, I mean, we'll circle. What do we got? We got Genty, we got Noah Fant that I'm gonna have to defend.
Yeah, we're building some good brand.
Tyler Shook.
Brand blocks.
That's you, yeah.
That's Tyler fucked.
I mean, and Audric Estime, I suppose, for me, but I'm actually fully open that that's gonna be a dead.
I mean, 20th round picks. I like granular threads on why they could go.
Exactly. Sell me. Just sell me or sell yourself, whatever. Like if it works in your head
all the time.
I like that. I like that. Sell yourself. That's a good shirt.
That's definitely.
I'll take.
It says it just says OnlyFans on it. That's what it is.
I'll take 30% royalties on that, please. We got.
Best I can do is 69.
All right, I'll take that.
69 cents on the dollar.
We got. Yeah, that's good money. We got Bo Nix, we got Trevor Lawrence, Michael Penix, James Cook, Tony Pollard, Devin Neal, Jerome Ford, Marshawn Lloyd, Jordan James, Brian Thomas Jr., Drake London, Ted McMillan, Cortland Sutton, Juwan Jennings, Marvin Mims, Jaden Higgins, Dami Brown. Tight ends are Pat Freiermuth, Zach Ertz, and Noah Gray. That's actually a pretty reasonable squad. It's a little wonky, but makes sense.
Fair enough.
If you don't have a few wonky squads in your portfolio, though, you're probably a little over leveraged. That's what I learned. I had some really good exposure stands last year, but I did not have enough in both pre-draft and post-draft. I didn't have enough diversified stands of those guys, and that really hampered my ability to, like squeak out the wins. For every Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Kyron, Puka, and whatever, like, hey, those were the guys you needed in, Bucky in pre-draft. You needed those guys in the playoffs, but you hampered it with too many like similar builds of teams. And so I'm trying to force myself to, there are guys I just won't take, but I'm trying to have less of those guys. I'm trying to make myself fan it out a little bit better. And so I think you're doing a good job when you do that.
Yeah, unless it's Ashton Genty, you got to take guys you're not comfortable taking.
I mean, that's the name of the game, When has it ever been bad to completely fade a guy early on? Saquon Barkley fucked my ass.
Are you fading Saquon right now?
No, he was.
No, I'm like last year.
You did last year.
I took him 3 times in 1,000 drafts, and boy, did my butthole hurt.
If you drafted a running back in the first 3 rounds of the EMO Cowboy stream, you got verbally assaulted.
Oh,
You're
man, you fell victim to the 0 RB slappies, eh?
I think directionally it would. Like,
he's leading the
charge. Puka, Godwin, and Evans and Nico all missing 4 to 8 games doesn't exactly help the 0 running back thesis, if we're being honest. Wide receiver health was
I also
just
don't think
notable.
I also don't think Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Saquon Barkley absolutely smashing didn't help either.
I was in on Joe Mixon, who also missed 6 weeks, either full zeros or partial games with injury. So another thing, like, shit happens.
0% Joe Mixon for me. 20% Saquon and Barkley. 0%
Hell yeah, let's go. Let's go, Cody.
That's
Come on.
Yeah, you gotta take 0% fans, man.
Chuba over Mixon, right? Chuba over Mixon. We're there.
Fuck yeah! Oh yeah, no question. But I'm not taking a lot of Chuba at his price. But yeah, absolutely. If I had to, yeah,
Chuba, we were almost there. We almost got there.
Chuba Hubbard's Canadian, man. He's from about 2 hours north.
Taking a lot of Chase Claypool in the 20th round. Was your Canadian brother?
I'm not gritty, man.
Maple something? What was it? Maple something?
Mapletron. I think they tried down.
That's what it was.
Mapletron. Yeah.
Mapletron. I remember that now. That's good.
Yeah. Gritty just posted on Twitter, I think it was yesterday, that, any day now, Chase Claypool's going to sign.
Dude, he was in my chat the other day, and he was like, who he's like, DK just got traded out of Seattle. You know who Chase Claypool was comped to early on? I was like, okay, shut the hell up.
Yeah, I commented, yeah, I would be Jake Bobo over Chase Claypool personally. But if you guys need to get out of here, or are you guys going to stick around? What do you want to do?
I got to get out of here.
Draft, but
I got to get out of here, unfortunately.
Okay, all good, all good. Plug away whatever you want to plug away. Appreciate you coming on. Emo, if you need to get out of here as well, just let me know. But Tyler, plug away, and I appreciate you coming on, brother.
I don't want to plug anything. Make sure you subscribe to this man. Like the stream, subscribe to the stream, follow him on Twitter, all this stuff. This guy's killing it right now. Where else? What other best ball streamer are you to find that's got 0% Ashton Genty and like 95% of Jarquez Hunter? So again, go sub to this man. He deserves it. Like, sub, tap the bell, all that. Make sure you follow Fantasy Sanctuary as well. And then make sure you unsubscribe from Best Ball Guy. Do those 3 things. And we're just kidding.
I'm not going to plug anything. I'm just going to go on a fucking raid.
Yeah, it would be funny if we just got like 50 subs. Just like, where'd they go? And then
man.
Anyways, I'm out of here. See you guys later. Peace.
See you, brother.
No, I got to bounce. My dogs are getting all rowdy. But thank you for having me on. Let me just echo the sentiment. Cody's good people. He's been a lot of fun to watch the last few weeks for me personally. So hit the like, hit the sub, come back. The man's doing it all the time. He's got some great fun takes, and you're fantastic with the chat. I appreciate you on the 1s and 2s.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate that. We're gonna rip another draft though, but peace out, brother. Have a good night. We're gonna rip another draft solo. Let's change the background. We'll be able to give the chat a little more love. Change the background. PPR or Pat Fantasy Dog Pound, thanks for coming in. Let's rip another draft. Let's get right into it. Nothing to really go over too much right now. Let's do another big board. No one really got in the chat, so if you want to get in, jump in. Waiting on 6, tons of space. Now we get some spicy takes. And 0% Ashton Genty, 0% Joe Mixon, all that kind of stuff. Tyler, appreciate you coming on, man. It was a blast. I'll definitely have to have you on again. I'm 100%. I'm sure we're going to get to that 500 subscriber goal. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Help me out. We'll get there, rip a 12-hour live stream, and then we'll have those guys back on, ripping drafts, having fun, talking nonsense. And this is going to definitely be a lot sharper of a draft room. That's for sure. We got Fantasy Dog Pound in the 2 spot, Doc 79 in the 3 spot, Unders at the 5 spot, Huhames at 8, Green Bean at 10. If you're in the chat and I didn't shout you out, just let me know. But this is going to be a little more spicy takey, a little more. I mind you that, I mean, all those guys were my style of draft as well, but for the most part, except for I had to drag up Tet McMillan. 12-hole epic name. What's the 12-hole's name? Foot farts. Foot farts. Mr. Poopy Butthole, I think, is still the number one name out there. I'm surprised it was allowed, but take your Tet. It's good for you. Mr. Poopy Butthole, I like Biff Tannen. That's a quality name, that's for sure. Underzet, that's well done. Bagels is a good one. But yeah, let's get into this. What else do we want to talk about? After watching that draft and free agent news today, my head hurts. Hopefully in a good way. Let's oh no. Oh, there we go. Let's take a look at some of the free agent. I'm gonna have to do a couple things here. Let's go like this. Pull this up over here. Let's go back here. Full screen it. And we're on the clock. CeeDee Lamb at 8. That's generous. That's very generous. Let's do. I'm underweight on Nico. Obviously, now I'm concerned with the trade with the Laramie Tunsil trade. Let's bring in Brian Thomas Jr. I want to be a little more overweight on him than I would on Nico. Just because, yeah, why? Like, you trade away your left tackle and you already had a weak offensive line. That's pretty concerning to me, especially for the running backs. So Joe Mixon, obviously, I don't like Joe Mixon already, anyways. But yeah, with a weaker offensive line, holy, Garrett Wilson getting brought up to the 12 spot with Breece Hall, interesting. That's interesting. With Justin Fields coming in, so Foot Farts, if you know who Foot Farts is, then yeah, that's interesting. Dammy, good news for BTJ. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Finally, we got some movement, some free agent movement, or what are we talking about? Some movement in the draft. Definitely won't be Genty, not taking Genty, but let's try to get a unique. I guess a CMC share makes some sense here. To bring up Lad McConkey. Let's bring up Lad. I don't have enough, and my plan was to not force it early because he wasn't going to move. So might as well get some more McConkey. You don't forget something like that. Foot Farts. He took Bowers at 10, and then the Jets. Where does Elijah Moore go? I had Elijah Moore going to the Rams before they brought in Devontae Adams. That connection with Mike LaFleur. You know, Mike LaFleur was his offensive coordinator with the Jets when he was a rookie. Had his best season. I thought that's where he was going. Made a lot of sense. He could fill that Cooper Kupp role potentially, but obviously that's not happening. So I don't know. I mean, Slayton and Moore, Josh Palmer. Those are the three kind of big name, future wide receivers that could have a role long term. Slayton goes back to the Giants, which is a pretty junk landing spot. I'm glad I was underweight on him. Obviously, Josh Palmer goes to the Bills, and that's a quality click in the 18th, 19th, 20th round for sure. But then where does that leave Elijah Moore? I'm not sure. Honestly, I'll have to take another look around at the depth charts since free agency has ended, but I don't know. I don't know if he's being a little too picky. I don't know if he's asking for too much money. Like, realistically, the market says you're $12 million max. $10 to $12 million is pretty much all you're going to get. That's what the market says. So where do you go? I mean, the Cowboys would make them. That would be the kind of nuts landing spot for all of us Elijah Moore slappies. I'm like 22, 24%, something like that. So if he goes to the Cowboys, that would be the nuts landing spot, I think. So I don't know. I'll have to take another look at it and kind of try to figure out where he goes. Jags, I don't think so for sure. Definitely not to the Jags. I think Parker Washington is that Christian Kirk, replacement. And then obviously Brenton Strange, Diami Brown, just run fast in a straight line. Same thing with Gabe Davis, and then BTJ is the guy. So I don't think the Jags would make any sense for Elijah Moore, and that would obviously be a pretty terrible landing spot for anyone that's been drafting him. I took Wilson at 14, trying to be unique. Yeah, sure. But after, since the Justin Fields news came out, I'm a little less, I was pretty high on thinking that Kirk Cousins was going to be the Jets quarterback in a trade, but I guess that's not going to happen. So what are you going to do? Wow, Huhames just hit the lottery with Terry McLaurin at 32, so that must feel nice. Let's just bring in Marvin Harrison. Easy click. Makes too much sense. Couple 3 second-year wide receivers. So I don't mind getting unique, but after the Justin Fields news, that kind of would make me a little hesitant on taking Garrett Wilson that early. CD Genty, and all it took was Jets fan, Genty hater, and a Genty hater. Yeah. I'm not a Genty hater. I just don't think the price makes any sense. So let's clarify this. let's clarify this for all the slappies in the chat that are drafting Justin Genty. To me, it just makes zero sense that he's a second round, 1-2 turn pick. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, not only for the guys that are going around him, but the guys that are going later than him. So I think it's true. I think there genuinely are NFL, general managers, NFL people. I'm going to take Kyren here at a huge discount. I think that all this news only helps Kyren Williams realistically, but I'm going to probably bring it back with his backup most likely. But I'm not a hater. It's just I think he's a very, very good running back for sure. You can't dispute that, but I just don't put him in a class above Derrick Henry, above Jonathan Taylor, even Christian McCaffrey if he's healthy. Breece Hall's still there, who goes later. Bucky Irving goes a bunch later, right? And even Amari and Hampton, where again, NFL GMs and NFL people are supposedly saying that they have Hampton over Genty. I don't think that that's a crazy take whatsoever. So I'm just not doing it. I was doing the same thing with Marvin Harrison Jr. last year. I had 0% when he was a 1-2 turn pick, and that worked out pretty well for me. So yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing with Genty. I can adjust in best ball summer. I can adjust after the draft and see where the landing spot is. I don't think that anyone's going to pull up Ashton Genty that far unless Hampton goes, in the top 15 as well, which is possible, similar to the, Bijan Gibbs situation that happened a couple years ago. But yeah, I just don't think it makes sense. I really, really don't. But, is it going to kill me? No, I really don't think. Even if he, has a good rookie season and plays well, Derrick Henry's still doing what he's doing, and I'm picking him every time, not every time, but you get what I'm saying. Jonathan Taylor too, Devon Achane even, right? I'm picking those running backs in the same range. So me not taking Genty, unless he's like fucking RB1 and he just absolutely crushes, yeah, that could hurt. But what's going to be the difference if Genty's RB1 and Derrick Henry's RB3? Is that going to crush my big board hopes? I don't think so. So yeah, I'm not going to get, groupthinked and bullied into liking Genty more than I do. It's just not going to happen. Not sure what you're doing. There's the board. Try to keep it up for you. Does he take Fields round 3? Wow, that would be hilarious. Worthy and Mahomes. That's interesting. Interesting. He didn't do that, but he did something, even more different. Hit the lottery with Genty at 17. I mean, I'm not taking Ashton Genty until pick 20, at least. That's where I'll get some exposure if he falls, which I doubt he would. Yeah, appreciate that. I'm taking the exact same stance on CMC, but because injury concerns. Yeah, I'm not really taking a stance. Like, I am going to get some shares of Christian McCaffrey. You don't need to force it at all because he's always going to be there. And I still have about 70 bullets in the big board. Speaking of which, I'm going to go name that draft before it gets too far. He's just not going anywhere. So I don't need to take any shares at any particular time. He's always going to be a 1-2 turn, middle of the second round type of player. So I don't have to change anything when it comes to CMC. I don't have to pull him up, push him down, nothing like that. So Kenny Walker with Kyren Williams every time. Don't hate the Joe Burrow naked click here, but I don't want to go that route realistically. I'm just going to keep loading up on Kenny Walker here. Love him in the Kubiak offense. No wide receivers to throw the ball to. Let's go just name this draft quickly. Bear with me that the boys were on. I'm not good at naming my teams. So let's name that. As you can see, I'm not good at naming my teams, but let's get back in 3 picks away. There we go. All right. Yeah, I'm going to keep loading up on Kenny Walker. What do we want to do here? Terrible wide receiver range. I guess you can pull up you can pull up wide receivers in this range just fine, and that works. That's pretty much the only option, I guess, after Waddle. Joe Burrow, if he's still there, I'll have to just take him, and he probably will be. There goes Fields. Wow. What are we doing, foot farts? Interesting. I'm going to take a falling Burrow here. 14 picks past ADP. You can backstack pretty easily. Let's make that happen. I mean, yeah, I guess. Like, you know, whoever wins is fun. Like, I just don't think, like, is it that fun? I don't know. Devon Achan's just as fun. Is it just because it's a new name, I guess? Yeah, like it's fun to take rookies, but in my opinion, they're just overdrafted, especially in the big board. So I think Ted McMillan goes too high. I really do. I don't bring him up at all. I've been saying over and over again on the channel, I just genuinely think that it's very, very easily on the table that a third, fourth, fifth round wide receiver, much like Amon-Ra a few years back, right, becomes the wide receiver one in this class. It's just to me, it's going to depend on landing spot. That's my genuine take. Like even if Ted McMillan goes to the Patriots, is that a great landing spot? Like we said the same shit about Marvin Harrison Jr. We all thought he was going to the Cardinals. At least I did. That's where I mocked him to, was the Cardinals. And I did not like, and I still, well, now it's fine. But at the time as a rookie, I did not like that landing spot. So yeah, if Ted McMillan goes to the Patriots, is that a great landing spot? It's a good one, but is it going to be, you know, in this range of wide receiver? Is it going to be, you know, 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns? Probably not. I don't think. I mean, I take him around 50. Like if he falls a few picks past ADP into the 5th round, I'll take him. I know there's not much of a difference there, but I'm not pulling him up. Like in the last draft, we pulled him up, and that was really uncomfortable for me, but I did it because, you know, it is what it is. And you gotta, do some stuff you're uncomfortable with doing, like we just said. But I don't know. And Genty's in a similar vein. So I don't know. It's fun, I guess. If he smashes and you win, then it's fun. What are we doing? Probably wide receivers in this range. I think Tony Pollard gets a bump, but it's definitely wide receivers in this range. It's a mecca for me kind of always. Unless it makes sense to take Shakir. Jalen McMillan has to fall from here with the Godwin news. He has to fall probably below Matthew Golden, probably below Josh Downs. Cooper Kupp, we have to see. He's going to get cut for sure. No one's going to give them any capital. They've obviously just been playing chicken with the Rams. They want to save $5 million, but it's not going to happen. So they're going to cut him, and then we'll see where he ends up. But I plan on being overweight Genty before the draft. He might go too high for me to click after the draft. What's the difference between ADP 13 and ADP 7? What's the difference? It's pretty much the same, honestly, in my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong. Again, I could be completely wrong on this whole take, but I'm prepared to be wrong. Obviously, I'm going to hear about it, which is fine. You know, it's not my first rodeo. I'm not too nervous about it. So I'm sure the chat will let me know, which is perfectly fine. And you should let me know. So we'll see, but I don't think it's going to kill me. Like, again, regardless, I'm still going to have the Derrick Henry defense. That's a legal term, by the way. We'll see what Green Bean does here, but definitely some options, tons of options. Probably won't be Kyler, as in it won't be. Shakir or Pollard. Let's do Pollard. I think Shakir should slip a little bit. I mean, he is, obviously. This is 10 picks past ADP, but with Palmer, with Coleman, with Kincaid, you know, Curtis Samuel's still there. Dawson Knox is still there. He throws a lot to the running backs, right? That's a lot of mouths to feed in the passing game. And considering it was relatively, you know, flat and spread out last year, I do like Shakir, but he probably should slip a little bit ADP wise. I don't know if he slips, you know, like I guess you could, Downs ahead of him for sure. I'm all right with, but I mean, it's not like he's going to go from wide receiver. What is he? Wide receiver 43 to wide receiver 50 or anything like that. So I don't know. I guess in the range, it is what it is, and you just click him if you need him. That's some crazy ADP. Called the Fields reach. Yeah, no doubt. That's a little aggressive for sure. What's he been doing since? Isaiah Pacheco? Wow. I mean, this is a nice draft to be in. Brings up Najee, which is actually not the worst click right there, to be honest with you. Travis Kelce, yeah, this is a good draft room to be in. So looks like we're all getting a reasonable amount of expected value when you have someone in the 12 spot just clicking buttons. That's nice. But where does Najee go? Like, is that a good range? Probably. In a vacuum, I'm taking Najee over Tyrone Tracy. Yeah. Pollard, I probably like, I mean, that's really close. That's not a bad range. Actually, that might be where Najee Harris, gets up to ADP wise, and the range of running backs that he kind of joins right there with James Conner, Aaron Jones. I mean, yeah, it's not the worst range realistically. Yeah, you could be right here. Who aims like, yeah, I think that's definitely his new range, and he could go higher. Does he get ahead of Caleb Johnson? Probably. Does he get ahead of James Conner? Probably. At least close to it. So now he's a 7th round pick, I suppose. What's my average on Najee? 107 at 18%. That feels really nice. I have him in 9th. So 2 rounds of value on Najee. Pretty nutted landing spot. That feels good. That feels really nice. I might do. No, I can't do that. Let's go with. I'm going to get just a little different. I'm going to go Charbonnet here with Kenny Walker. I can stop at 2 quarterbacks almost completely and almost for sure, regardless of who I end up with. He's settling next to Pollard more or less. Yeah, I think so. I think he gets ahead of Jaylen Warren. I think he gets ahead of Jaylen Warren. Pollard fell a little bit in this room, so he gets ahead of Tyrone Tracy. Gets ahead of Warren, right there with Pollard, right there with Jones, right there with James Conner. I think Caleb probably continues to slip, but he settles right in there as well. Like realistically, I think Quinshawn is quite a bit ahead of Caleb Johnson. But how far did he slip in this draft? Yeah, he fell half a round, so that's good value, and that's probably where he settles, is right where he was picked. So that's definitely a fine click for Pat there. And that's probably where he settles in. Do I just take the falling value on Kyler? I'm not going to, because I want Justin Herbert more realistically. I think Justin Herbert's ceiling is higher. I really do. He's shown it, so let's do that. Steven, what's happening, man? Just coming in, maybe watch it back. We had a couple guests. We had PPRTyler and EMO Cowboy both on at the same time. We ripped a draft together, so it was a good time, good chat. Go watch it back if you just pop it in, but hit that like and subscribe button if you don't mind. Like the ticker says, 458 out of 500. We get to 500 subscribers by the NFL draft. That's over a month away. We got tons of time. We'll do a 12-hour 12-hour stream, and definitely get some guests on, rip some drafts, have some fun, talk about the upcoming draft. It'll be closer to the draft. So yeah, if you like the content, hit the subscribe button. I have a little firmer takes than some other people. So yeah, if you appreciate that, then yeah, come back when I'm wrong though, please. Don't let anybody off the hook, especially and even me. So if I'm wrong, come back, but give some love when I'm right. Give some love when I'm right. We'll see what tomorrow brings. In my opinion, it's Russell Wilson to the Giants and Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers. And then I think Mac Jones to the Titans, I think makes a lot of sense. So those underrated, backup battle for a job like Mac Jones, Will Levis, within a Brian Callahan offense, I think that makes a ton of sense. I think that puts just enough pressure on Will Levis. They can take Abdul Carter first overall and then just let those two guys battle. And you're going to get basically this similar or the same as what you got out of Levis and Mason Rudolph. Arguably, I think Mac Jones is better than probably both of them. If I'm being honest, I think Mac Jones would have a really reasonable shot at winning the starting quarterback job if he goes to Tennessee. So that's my thoughts. And then Gardner Minshew back with the Indianapolis Colts, again, makes just too much sense. He had success with that team. He was Anthony Richardson's backup at one point in his rookie year. He got hurt, and Gardner Minshew almost led them to the playoffs. So he knows the coaching staff. He knows the offense. It's arguably a better team. It's definitely probably a better offense than it was when he left it with Adonai Mitchell coming in and, everybody being healthy. So except for maybe Pittman, but either way, those are my predictions for tomorrow as far as the quarterback position is concerned. And then, yeah, I think the Browns just have to draft somebody. I think they've backed themselves into trading for a rookie, rookie deal quarterback in Kenny Pickett. And then drafting another one and then just kind of taking it from there. So I'm done at quarterback. Obviously, I'm not taking more than Burrow and Herbert, and I'll back up Burrow later. Trey Harris seems like a quality click here. One of my, he's my wide receiver too. And I'll say it with a caveat because Travis Hunter is lower than anyone else probably has him, only because of this whole cornerback situation. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If Travis Hunter was just a wide receiver, he's wide receiver 1 for sure. But with this whole what's going on, what position are you playing? There's a little more meat on that bone, and I can't rank him that high if he's not going to be playing every down. I would prefer if he does. I think it's an easier transition for him. I really do. I also think if he ran a 40, you'd be in the 4.2s for sure. He's very, very fast. I think his skill set and his body, more importantly, his body type and, his size and speed, I think it makes more sense for him to play wide receiver in the NFL, but could be wrong on that one too. But that's just kind of my hard, firm take on that. Did he go? Did I miss Quentin Johnston? Oh, of course, Buddy brought him up for no reason. Just naked Quentin Johnston, 30 picks ahead at ADP. That's cool. Let's take Dalton Kincaid here, I guess. Don't really love any clicks, but I don't want to fall too much further behind at tight end. So let's just take Kincaid. I think he was injured a lot last year. I think that obviously played a role in his decline. But if he's healthy, fingers crossed he's healthy, then we should see that uptick that we've been waiting for. And this is kind of the last kick at the can that we're going to get with Kincaid. If he doesn't do it this year, then it's pretty much not going to happen. And we can kind of leave it there. Really, I should have taken my guy Bashal Tutin. That's what I should have done. But it got to zeros and I panic clicked Dalton Kincaid. Not really. I mean, it was a tight end, but Tutin would have been the click there. So Goddard's just plummeting down the draft board right now. He was available in the 160s in the draft I had earlier today, and I still didn't click him. But I don't think there's anything to this trade fodder that's going on with Dallas Goedert. I don't think it makes any sense for anyone to send any kind of, draft capital to the Eagles. I don't think that's going to happen. I'd be shocked if they're able to get, I think their asking price was a 4th round pick. I really do not see that happening for the Eagles. I'm sure they would snap that up in a heartbeat, but what team is going to give them that? I don't see anyone feeling the need in a strong strong tight end draft. And then there's still a couple guys out there that you can get on the cheap. So Najee, 1 year, $9.5 million. That's kind of what we were talking about last, I think it was last night when we were talking about him. That makes sense. I think what I was saying is I don't think there's going to be a market that he likes, realistically. I'm a little surprised he signed a 1 year deal. I'm not sure why he signs a 1 year deal at his age. That's shocking. I thought it would have been a 3 year deal for Najee for sure. And then he can still sign one more. I mean, I guess he's, it's basically 9.5 guaranteed. He's going to get paid that money, but you could have gotten at least more or less 2 years guaranteed, make it too uncomfortable for them to cut you. I'm not saying that there was a market for him with a contract like that or for a contract like that, but I don't know. That's just a little surprising to me that that's how it went down. But it's an interesting one. The money makes sense. That's what I was saying. I don't think there's going to be a $12 million market for Najee. I said 8 to 10, 9.5 makes sense. So yeah, good get for them. That's the nuts landing spot, like we said earlier, for Najee. I'm going to continue to do something a little different, and I'm going to take Blake Corum here. So I'm guaranteeing myself the Rams and the Seahawks backfield with, Tony Pollard in there as well. Taking 2 quarterbacks and stopping there allows me to do that. And then I can still stop at 6 running backs and feel comfortable because I'm guaranteeing myself a quality running back room. I said last night, on last night's stream, 2 nights ago, last night, I think, that I was going to start doing that. And if I can do it on the same team like this, where it makes sense, then I'm going to do it. So I'm concerned about the amount of touches that Kyron Williams has had in his career. And if he can't stay healthy, then Blake Corum hopefully steps in. And then same thing with Kenny Walker. But I want the running back in that offense. Wow, man, Foot Farts is an interesting cat. We're going to have to take a look at that squad too, just to see what he ended up with. That's a little, it's a little wild. We're definitely going to take one of these 2 tight ends here. Doesn't particularly matter. Green Bean might be going for 1. Kyle Pitts, maybe. Hard to say. Takes Kate Otten. Let's gamble on Pitts regardless of where he ends up playing. Let's shoot for the upside. I don't think it will. I don't think it will get canceled. No, this isn't enough for sure. Especially with Williams, where he signed with the Cowboys now. Braylon Allen is not that bad. Audric Estime, it's really not that bad. Once we're this late in the draft, it's when oh man, Amari Cooper, interesting. What's his ADP though? That should be fine. Yeah, I don't think this is that bad at all to get canceled. I really don't. Like when there's like an obvious, there is an obvious strategy here. I definitely don't agree with it, and I would never do it, and I would never recommend anyone does a strategy like this. But there is an obvious strategy going on, so you gotta kind of let it ride. So, yeah, I mean, again, might get flagged. They might take a peek at it, but there is an obvious strategy. We can say we don't agree because I think everyone here would not, but there is a strategy. So he's got that going for him, I suppose. Yeah, I don't think it will. I just got one canceled today. It seems like they do like a big kind of push of cancellations They just do them all at once. They whatever, drafts or draft pods, they're flagged, and then they all get looked at and they all get canceled in the same day. Because I know PPRTyler had one from like February canceled today, and I had one just from 2 days ago on March 8th, I believe. I had that one canceled. So, and they both were canceled today. So I guess that means they're up to date on their cancellations. So if you had some of those Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles playoff nonsense drafts going on there, then I guess those are done and canceled by now. That one was not. Obviously, that was only 2 days ago, but it was a clear and obvious, I don't know if you call it collusion or not, but they were just clicking buttons. So nothing more frustrating than that. It was really frustrating when we were doing streams at that time and that stuff was happening. So I don't know. I feel like I still have a couple on the board that might get canceled. Yeah, I did see that. I'm Canadian, so I don't think they would hire me, and I wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't take that job, anyways. If I'm being honest, but yeah, I did see that. So if anyone in the chat is interested, and you're not Canadian, like, jump on it. Jump on that. Yeah, same thing with Hope Bishop and Shane Newmy. I don't know Shane, but Hope's good stuff. So you'd be working with them. It sounds like probably be a fun gig. Probably be a fun gig. Let's do. I'm going to have to bring. No, I don't. I don't have to bring anybody up. Let's do Jalen Knoll over Jalen Royals. So I guess I am bringing somebody up, but doesn't really matter at this stage of the draft. I just want to get even exposure-wise with Knoll, Restrepo, Royals. They're all very, very, very similar wide receivers. So I just want to be kind of even weight on all of them and see where they end up. Like they all could go to the same landing spots. Obviously, they're all similar receivers. So, wow. And then just pulls up the Jacksonville wide receivers. Interesting. Still, yeah, I don't think that's enough to get it thrown out. That's for sure. It's just really weird. Hard to really say what your strategy is. It's an interesting one. Not my strategy, but a couple rookies. Jalen Royals goes. Let's bring in Yoshivas to pair up with Burrow. I think he's a really good click at this stage of the draft. I really do. As a Bengals fan, I'm a big fan of that click. So let's bring him in. Again, I need some Cincinnati players, obviously. There were more egregious ones during the Super Bowl and none of mine were canceled. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think there might be another round, maybe, because I had a few that were pretty bad, pretty egregious. I thought would be canceled regardless of the confusion. There were some that weren't that bad. But I don't know. You could be right. Maybe they hold over. I'm not exactly sure. We will see, because I thought that some of those would be canceled for me as well. So maybe there is just another round of them coming through. I don't know. But again, with PPRTyler getting his from February canceled, mine from 2 days ago getting canceled, it seems like they kind of just do a clean sweep all at once. But I could definitely be wrong on that. So maybe if someone gets this job, let us know. Let us know how it works. Because that would be interesting to kind of know how they attack those and what their kind of thought process is around them. Like I know some people say go ahead and do stuff like that. Like realistically, go ahead and let's say that Foot Farts here is colluding with friggin' Brasidas, right? Let's say they're colluding. Go nuts, man. Like you're really not going to beat the field. Like if you want to take that risk, you're really just burning money, and it's most likely not going to work out for you, right? Like go ahead and do shit like this where you're pulling guys up, you're doing crazy stuff, you're pushing guys down for your buddy here. It's probably not going to do enough to make a difference. So I'm happy that we have this guy in this draft. And I don't think it's enough to get it thrown out. And it's pushing guys down the draft for all of us. So it's actually, honestly, a good thing that he's here. And even if he is colluding, I could care less, with what's going on. It really doesn't make a difference. It's not going to help him enough to, even potentially advance out of this pod. So. Those super drafts were bananas. Didn't have any canceled yet. We might I think there might be some more coming out, but we'll see. I'm getting hired and throwing this draft out Mahomes or who hims. Yeah. Hopefully not, man. Hopefully not. Be happy Green Bean took Jaden. Oh yeah. I mean, I might have taken him. And who aims? You just snipe me on Gesicki just to be that guy, hey? No, that's a good click. What am I going to do here? I'm done at quarterback. I need more running back. Let's do Brashard Smith. I would like to just get a little more closer to the field. So let's do that. And then I'm done at running back. Yeah, I'm done at running back. Tony Pollard is enough, I think, to make this strategy work. Even if Brashard Smith doesn't do much of anything, I'm guaranteed probably to have 2 running backs in a quality offense scoring points for me week in, week out. And then Tony Pollard, I think it's a bump from today. So that makes it work. I could add a 7th running back. I could do that. So we'll keep that on the table. We could keep that on the table. I think I'm pretty good at wide receiver. Obviously, I have to add another. Let's bring in Savion. Unless someone else makes more sense to me. Which I don't think anybody else does. I haven't clicked him in a little while. So let's bring in Savion. I might be done there. I won't take, even though I still like Fant, I won't take him here, not with both the running backs. I'm obviously banking on the running backs in that offense. I'm trying to be cautious on Michael Mayer, and I'm going to continue, until he does get traded and we know where he is. If he doesn't get traded till the draft, then, and where's he going to go? Yeah, and with, Juwan Johnson not getting signed yet, I think that's a bit of a red flag. That's a little bit concerning anyways. Even Evan Ingram is still available. So, man, do I stop at 8 wide receivers here? Basically, I'm asking one of these guys to get drafted by the Bengals. So maybe I take another shot on a rookie wide receiver, hoping that he goes to the Bengals or the Chargers realistically, which, 2 wide receiver needy teams. Unless T. Higgins, that whole situation gets ironed out. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Patriots send a 2nd round pick to the Bengals for T. Higgins. I wouldn't be shocked on that. I think that would make sense actually for a lot of people. Yeah, Gesicki is a fantastic click at the end of drafts, so I can't really blame you. It just hurts. Just hurts when he goes one before. And I probably would have taken Jaden Daniels on you if he was still there, as in I absolutely would have taken Jaden Daniels right there. Unfortunately, you had Terry fall all the way to you at 32 and then you get sniped. That's what would have happened if Green Bean didn't take him. So, I guess I would have ruined your day. That would be really nice to get Terry McLaurin that late, picks 6 through 8, and you get him in the 3rd round, and then Jaden Daniels falls into your lap. That's the absolute nuts, realistically. So that would have been really nice for you, but didn't happen. So I think I'm actually going to take another rookie wide receiver and just hope that they land on either Cincinnati or the Chargers. And then I get my kind of double stack there. Tyler Lockett could be someone like that. I guess Elijah Moore could be someone like that. I mean, Elijah Moore to the Chargers wouldn't make a lot of sense. No, let's just go a rookie, and it's pretty much always Kyle Williams for me here. Let's do that, and then I'm going to bring in a rookie tight end to wrap it up with Kincaid and Pitts. I can bring in a rookie, take a shot. And again, a rookie tight end with the Chargers makes some sense. I think that makes more sense what I just did there, but we'll see. Even have CD for a possible week 17. How many rookie wide receivers do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 rookie running back. So I have 6 total rookies as it sits right now. I will have 7 after I draft a rookie tight end. It's a lot of rookie wide receivers, but I'm perfectly fine with that, especially when it's Ibuka, Harris, Noel, Savion, Kyle Williams. I'm happy with those options. I'm going to bring in let's do, who do I like to go to the Chargers as a rookie tight end? Who do I think can fit with the Chargers for what they want to do? Like, it could be Arroyo, it could be Mason Taylor, it could be Terrence Ferguson. Terrence Ferguson's my guy. Let's not go Mason Taylor. It's either Ferguson or Arroyo. Arroyo's probably the proper click here, but I'm going to take Terrence Ferguson because he's my guy. And I'm going to stand by my take and take Terrence Ferguson. If they like Colston Loveland, which they kind of have to because he went to school at Michigan, where Harbaugh was, makes sense. He recruited him. If they like Colston Loveland, I think that Terrence Ferguson is a Colston Loveland clone. Therefore, if they like Colston Loveland, hopefully they like Terrence Ferguson. That's my argument, and that's why I drafted him. So fingers crossed he gets drafted by the Chargers, and then either like Ibuka, pretty doubtful in the first round, but you never know with the Bengals. They could. He's an Ohio State guy, so it's not crazy. Ibuka to the Bengals, especially if they do trade T. Higgins, they could just go ahead and replace him with Ibuka, in my opinion. I think that's honestly actually an upgrade, especially for what they would need out of him. I think it makes more sense. Trey Harris could be on the table as well for T. Higgins. That would be a more direct replacement for T. Higgins. Jalen Noel can fit in the slot with the Bengals. I don't think Savion Williams is going to Cincinnati, but I do like him regardless. Kyle Williams could fit in with the Bengals. Again, not super likely. So basically it would be these 3 that are possibly Bengals fits. Trey Harris would fit with the Chargers. Savion Williams might fit with the Chargers, but Terrence Ferguson is another guy in that vein. So let's wrap up my squad. Then we got a bunch of teams to take a look at before we get out of here. So we got Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. I'm fine with stopping at 2 there. Anytime I can stop at 2 quarterbacks, I like to do it. So I'm happy to do that. Kyren Williams, Kenny Walker the third, Tony Pollard, Zach Charbonnet, Blake Corum, and Brashard Smith. Probably would rather someone other than Smith, but it is what it is. If I could have gotten Bashal Tootin there and then, wrapped it up with Blake Corum, I would have been happier with the room, but it could still work as long as Tony Pollard gets that bump that I expect him to get with the offensive line help and free agency. Then it could still work. It basically is going to depend on Tony Pollard. So we'll see how that works out. Brian Thomas Jr., Lad McConkey, Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Ibuka, Trey Harris, Jalen Knoll, Andre Yoshivas, Savion Williams, and Kyle Williams. Volume, I'm happy with the volume. Probably wouldn't have minded another, established veteran in there somewhere, but I'm happy with how it worked out. I guess Knoll, I could have gotten a more established veteran at that spot. I guess if I'd brought up Yoshivas instead, maybe things would have been a little bit different, but I think that'll work regardless. Obviously, it's the top three, 3 second-year wide receivers that were all had very good rookie seasons, should all take a step forward in their second season. That should hopefully carry me. I need 1 or 2 of these rookies to hit. It should work, actually. Dalton Kincaid, Kyle Pitts, and Terrence Ferguson. That's good. I like the texture. Bunch of value on Kyle Pitts, 14 picks on Kyle Pitts. I'll take that. It works. I'm happy with the squad, actually. Like, realistically, I don't think there's any real weaknesses, if I'm being honest. Quarterback is strong. Running back works, given that I have the guaranteed production. Yeah, I guess it's a little thin with Tony Pollard, but the 2 backups should have spike weeks regardless. At least Charbonnet should, to pop in there once in a while. I'm happy with this wide receiver room. Tight end room works. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that draft. Let's start at the top. Let's go with Pat's team, Fantasy Dog Pound. We got Jalen Hurts, Caleb Williams, and Aaron Rodgers. Personally, I probably would have stopped at 2, but not huge, but decent value on Jalen Hurts. I probably would have stopped at Caleb. I think he's due for a massive season. I really, really like Caleb this year. My exposure says so. Obviously, they just completely wrapped up that offensive line, and it's amazing. Plus the 2 quality running or wide receivers, a decent pass catching running back, decent pass catching tight end. The defense is actually just stacked now for the Bears. I think the Bears are going to be a fucking wagon this year. I really do. But anyways, I probably would have stopped at 2, but it is what it is. I'm okay with Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to assume you have some Steelers potentially, but we'll take a look. Saquon Barkley, Caleb Johnson, J.K. Dobbins, Bashal Tuden, R.J. Harvey, and Elijah Mitchell. Makes a lot of sense. Anytime it's Barkley, you're just wide open to do kind of whatever the hell you want at running back. You obviously have your massive anchor, and then you can just do whatever you want. Still need to see where Dobbins lands. Got a full round of ADP value. Caleb Johnson, half round of ADP value. I love Bashal Tuden, so that's beauty. I like RJ Harvey, so that's fine right at ADP. Elijah Mitchell obviously goes to the Chiefs. It's no guarantee that Pacheco is going to kind of be that guy. And plus, Mitchell can do a little bit more. So I don't mind this room. Again, when it's Barkley, the door's wide open. You can do whatever you want. So I don't mind that at all. Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, love that double stack. I'm trying to get as much of that as I can right now. You do have some Pittsburgh Steelers with George Pickens, almost a round of value there, so that works. Darnell Mooney, Cedric Tillman. I know you're a Cedric Tillman slappy. I'm concerned about the concussion that kept him out the final 5 games of last year. That's a lot of games to miss for a concussion, but if he comes back and he is healthy, plus who's throwing him the ball, plus Jerry Jeudy's there. I haven't drafted Tillman at all, but it is what it is. Doesn't mean I'm right. That's for damn sure. Adonai Mitchell and Elijah Moore. We're still waiting to see where Elijah Moore goes, but I think he's definitely in my opinion, he's the number 1 wide receiver that's available right now. Yes, over Stephon Diggs. I'm not sure where he lands. I'm going to have to dig into that. Maybe I will do that tonight after we wrap it up here. I'll take a look at where I think he might go. But Aaron Rodgers with Pickens, does Freiermuth there? No. But Colston Loveland, Jake Ferguson, and Harold Fannin, that works just fine. Tons of value on Jake Ferguson. Naked Hurts, Hurts and Barkley, that'll work considering. I love the double stack Caleb. Single stack Pickens with Rodgers makes sense. Yeah, wouldn't expect too much different from you. Solid team, makes a lot of sense. Doc 79. We got Jordan Love and Drake May. Nerve-wracking, but it can work. It can definitely work. It's a little nerve-wracking, but it can definitely be okay. Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irvin, Jalen Wright, Tyler Algier, Nick Chubb, and Antonio Gibson. I like this a lot. I'm not drafting Nick Chubb whatsoever, but this all makes sense, and I'm okay with it. If you like them, then draft them. But the rest of it, I really like, so I'm happy with that room for sure. Got some value on Algier, which he seems to be slipping right now, but that definitely works. Justin Jefferson, Zay Flowers, Chris Olave, Jaden Reed, Ricky Pearsall, Romeo Dobbs, Dontavion Wicks. Man, this is a quality team. How did you end up with such a good team? You're obviously concerned about your quarterback room, but this is a really, really solid team. Dontavion Wicks, DeAndre Hopkins, and Kayshon Boutte. Mark Andrews, Tucker Kraft, Hunter Henry. So double stacked New England, triple stacked New England, triple stacked Green Bay, quadruple stacked Green Bay Packers. That's a fine strategy. Andrews, Kraft, and Henry is very solid. This is a very strong wide receiver room. This is a really nice team. I'm scared of this one. Jonathan Taylor and Bucky Irving. Obviously, it's going to ride or die with your quarterbacks, but I think that can work. It can work, and that's what's going to decide, how far this team goes. But quality team, very strong, pretty much everywhere. Well done. I like that one. Let's take a look at Underzet. Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, Shedeur Sanders. I'm not drafting Shedeur Sanders, period, end of story. But it does make sense with this context, with this texture of quarterback room. It makes sense. Two quality vets, and then you get a rookie in there. So I can't argue it. Makes sense. Jahmyr Gibbs to pair with Goff, James Conner, Scatabo, Neal, and DJ Giddens. Little on the fragile side for sure. I'm not particularly high on James Conner this year. And then you need one of these rookies to hit. So it could work. It could work, but it's a little fragile for sure. AJ Brown, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jameson Williams again with Goff, Rashee Rice, Jalen McMillan at 92 feels a little bit better. Michael Pittman Jr. again, 116, nice drop there. Jalen Coker, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Darius Slayton. So Shedeur Sanders is going to the Giants, is what you're saying. It's not a bad strategy. Laporta, obviously just heavy on the Lions. Laporta, Higbee, and Arroyo. That works. Heavy on the Lions. You got Darnold with JSN. Could have looked at one of the tight ends. I mean, it would have made sense to get a Seattle tight end here over Arroyo. Sure, he could land there, but yeah, I mean, the team works. Obviously, it's the running back room is the question mark here. But other than that, you should be in good shape. As long as James Conner stays healthy, you should be okay. Let's take a look at Who Hames. Dak Prescott, JJ McCarthy, Tua Tagovailoa. That makes sense. That works. Value on Tua. Yep, that should get you by. Ashton Genty, Aaron Jones, Dylan Sampson, Isaac Rendo, Jordan Mason, and Austin Eckler. Kind of just guaranteeing yourself the number 2 for a fragile CMC. That's not a bad strategy. Genty, I mean, again, I'm not clicking him, but it's completely fine, especially at 17. Aaron Jones, yep, that makes sense. Dylan Sampson, full round of ADP value there too, so that works. Yeah, that'll get you by. CeeDee Lamb, Terry McLaurin out of value, Devontae Smith, Jordan Addison, Jalen Waddle, Travis Hunter, Malik Washington, Trey Tucker. That'll work. Double stack Tua, single stack on CeeDee Lamb. Unless Genty goes to the Cowboys, which is on the table. And double stack your Minnesota Vikings. So, yeah, quality squad. You got Hawkinson, Warren, and Gesicki. That definitely will work. Would have liked Gesicki on my team better, but that'll definitely work for you. So that's a strong team for sure. I guess your running back room is fragile. Aaron Jones needs to stay healthy, obviously. I expect them to bring in competition in the draft, but we can say that about a lot of running backs. So Aaron Jones just needs to stay healthy, and you should be okay, especially if you get a CMC injury, which, again, pretty on the table, but that's a strong squad. Should definitely work for you. Let's take a look at Green Bean. Jane Daniels, Michael Penix. I'm happy you stop at 2. That's okay. It's again a little nerve-wracking, but it should be okay. Should work. Chase Brown, Trevion Henderson, Jalen Warren, Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby. We're all doing this. We're all stacking running backs in this draft. So that'll definitely work though. LaQuint Allen, Jaden Blue makes sense. I'm happy with that. Chase Brown at ADP isn't my favorite, but you don't want to fall too far behind at running back, so I don't hate it. Nico Collins, Drake London, Deebo Samuel, Matthew Golden, Xavier Leggett, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Royals, Joshua Palmer. We got Kate Otten, Cole Kmet, and Brenton Strange. This tight end room really works. One of them are going to pop off a week. You're pretty much guaranteeing yourself like 8 to 12 points every week at tight end, and that's perfectly fine. So that'll work. We got single stacked Atlanta, single stacked Washington, both the Jacksonville running backs. It'll definitely work. Definitely makes sense. There should be possibly a rookie wide receiver going to both Washington and Atlanta. So if you can get lucky with Golden, Higgins, or Royals going to one of those teams, you'll backdoor into a double stack, which I think is on the table. Palmer's obviously with Buffalo, so that's an awesome click at the end of drafts now. I wish I had more, but yeah, that'll definitely play. That will definitely play. Foot farts. Last team we'll take a look at, and then we'll get out of here. We got Patrick Mahomes and Justin Fields. Yeah. I mean, even if they were taken at ADP, you should probably put a third in there, I would say. But obviously we know what he was doing, or maybe we don't know what he was doing. So, okay. Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco. I'm sure he has an ADP, so I'm not sure what's going on there, but Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco. Najee's actually a good click there. That was the one where that's actually a quality click. Javonte Williams, Braylon Allen, Audric Estime. I mean, again, in a vacuum, it works. Take out the ADP, nonsense with Javonte, with Pacheco, even with Breece Hall, because you pulled up both Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. Like, obviously, I'm assuming this guy's a Jets fan. I could only assume, and a Chiefs fan or something. But yeah, in a vacuum, it actually works. It's just you don't need to take these guys where you took them. That makes no sense. But, so then you're going to be weak somewhere else, which is wide receiver. Garrett Wilson, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Quentin Johnston, Amari Cooper, Gabe Davis, Parker Washington, Diami Brown, Jalen Naylor, and Malachi Corley. Don't despise that click at the end of the draft there. But, obviously you just threw volume at it. So, okay. And then you take Kelsey. Conklin's a free agent. He's not even a Jet right now. So maybe he comes back. Who knows? Either way, this is super fragile, and I would never recommend that. Corley's a Jet. Yeah, it's a weird one. It's definitely a weird one. Don't really quite know what to say about that one, but maybe he's an NHL drafter or an NBA drafter or something like that. Hard to say. Need 6 more on the biggest board if anyone's interested. I only have 1 more bullet on a biggest board, so I'm going to take it easy on that and draft it a little closer to when the tournament fills up. So I have 1 more bullet in the biggest and 2 more bullets in the bigger. I'm definitely going to max them both. It's just I'm going to probably do them off stream and try to get a little EV for myself. Maybe I'll do a bigger board on stream, but again, closer to when the contest fills. Is Keenan dust? I don't think Keenan's dust. I'm curious where he's going to go. Again, that's another guy that I can't quite put my finger on where he would fit and where makes sense. I guess you could say like Seattle would make sense for Keenan Allen, but he's, a little too similar to JSN. But I mean, for what you need out of a wide receiver in that offense, I think he would make sense. So I don't know. We'll take a look at that. Appreciate you coming out, Doc79. I expect Mac Hollins to be drafted by Drake May team. Yeah, I guess I'm not. Like, it's still Keyshawn Butte for me. And I've been saying all along, like, the guy whose role is still the most secure is Pop Douglas. It's still the most secure role in that offense. So I'm going to continue. If I'm drafting Drake May, I'm going to bring in Pop Douglas more than anyone else. So I still think it's the most secure by far. If they get Ted McMillan, if they get CeeDee Lamb, if they get someone else like that, they get an X wide receiver, then Pop Douglas is still perfectly fine in the slot. So yeah, I still think that that's the click. Realistically, this is good. Hit him with the foot farts. That's a good one. That's good. Vikings will maybe get a UDFA. They have 4 picks at what position are we talking about? Bobby Hill, running back, potentially. I'm not sure. Cowboys for Keenan. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense too. Yeah, Keenan Allen to the Cowboys. That would make a lot of sense. I'm not sure they have the cap space to be able to pull that one off. At least not yet. Maybe if they make some moves, clear some space, some more space, then it's possible. But that would make a lot of sense. And that would be the nut landing spot there too, right? Like, the Cowboys are very high on wide receiver landing spot for sure. So that's going to do it for tonight. We're going to get you guys out of here. Appreciate everybody coming out. Big thanks to PPRTyler. Big thanks to Emo Cowboy for coming on. Again, hit the subscribe button there. We're getting closer and closer to the 500. We're pretty much going to be doing it almost for sure, but we got to get to that goal before the NFL draft. I'll schedule in some guests. It'll be a good time. And maybe we'll try to figure out some games and stuff like that for when we're doing it. Hit that like button on your way out if you don't mind. If you like the content, I appreciate that. And like I always say on Off the Schneid, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight we were right. We banked the tournament, split it 3 ways, and we have some fun with it. But thanks guys for coming out. We'll see you next time.